This episode is brought to you by Midwest Night Watchers, found everywhere on your favorite podcast platforms.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Night Owl Lounge.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.
Our
Hope you
first
guys all
show.
had a great day with your families or friends or however you celebrated your New Year's. And
This is our first show of 2025. Hi, Linda.
yep.
And before you know it, it's going to be March, and it'll be 2 years that we've been doing all this crazy stuff.
So we are starting the new year off and thought we'd jump on tonight. We were going to go on last night like we did last year, but we decided to do the normal Wednesday night since that's usually our night to hang out with chat. We thought that would be better. So here we are.
Yeah, I hope everyone had a good year last year and looking forward to this year. And if you're in the Midwest, down south, buckle up. We're going to have some winter the next 10 days.
Well, I think it's quite a bit of the
Even all the way down south, they're going to get cold weather. So
it's going to affect the whole country, I think.
We got one more day of normal temps, and then we are going to start dropping for the next 10 days.
They said it's even going to go down into Florida.
Wow.
So then that usually doesn't happen that often. I mean, they put up their smudge pots for their oranges and stuff like that, but they don't usually have the real cold weather that supposedly is going to get down there with this.
It's a Mr. B.
Hi, Terry. Welcome in.
Good show tonight, sir.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see your shows back up. I enjoyed it tonight. But you're all nice and warm and hot down there. You're summer.
We also watched Jessica the Cryptid Huntress today, and she did a 2024 end review of the year of all the stories and guests that she had on. And then then who else did we watch? Heidi.
Yeah, Heidi
on Bob and Lala's
Orbis Paranormal.
Orbis Paranormal, that's it.
Yeah. So we saw Heidi and then Mr. B, and then Clay had his. What a way to start out the year, Clay, with Jim Jones.
And we had
that was good.
Hi, Roger.
Hi, Roger.
Then we had Dennis Hunting the Shadows was on tonight. So everybody was popping on tonight. And so we're right in our normal time schedule. So
good to see you, Patty. Hi, Daryl. Goodness, everybody's popping in.
Yeah, good.
Good to see everyone.
Well, we're going to let everybody pop in because we actually have a new series we're going to start tonight. We're going to start talking on Wednesday nights, and I don't think we'll do it on Sundays, maybe.
No,
usually we have guests.
Right. I was going to do it just on Night Owl Lounge. It'll be something that we could kind of do.
We're we're going to let the chat and the viewers build up a little bit. Then we'll announce our new series that we're going to be talking about. And it's going to probably be a weekly thing
for a while until we run out. But
I don't think we'll run. I don't think we'll run out. But
we may not run out for a while with how much we've got.
So we'll still hang out and chat with everybody, but we will have a little bit of subject matter to briefly discuss during the new series that we're going to start. So I hope everybody's, I know we're excited about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed as much as we've enjoyed discovering it and coming up with it. Boy, everybody's just popping in, huh?
I know. Mr. B said they had a beautiful day there. Yeah, I bet it's nice and warm. But it just goes that when we're all hot, then he's all cold.
Yeah, it kind of switches, doesn't it?
Yep.
Well, we're slowly picking up. So we'll just say hi to everybody if we haven't already done it. Got Linda in here and Mr. B, obviously, Terry, Clay, Roger Blair, Newbie, Daryl. Who else? Did I miss anybody?
I just realized we don't have one mod in here.
No, what's going on?
Where's all of our mods? Oh my goodness. I was going to tell the mods to throw out links, and we don't have a mod in here.
Oh, speaking of links.
Hi, Jay.
I did. Hi, Jay. Welcome in. I did actually, for the first time, actually remember set this up.
I'm scared. What are you going to do?
Our banner at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, our little ticker, people call it. Old timer.
Old timer.
Well, Mr. B, you're lucky your winter isn't that cold, because it can get cold here.
But just like people here in the U.S., though, like Florida, that's used in California, they're used to hot weather. And if we go there and visit, we think it's mild and a calm.
Right.
But the people that live there all the time, they have jackets on and sweaters and all kinds of stuff because they actually get cold because they're acclimated to their weather since they live there all the time. Now, if you're a snowbird and just travel back and forth, then it's not so bad. So I hope everybody's had a fantastic Christmas and a happy new year. And I know we just started our new year, but I hope everybody got off on a good foot and only good things to come throughout the rest of the year for everybody.
We had halfway decent weather the last few weeks.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was kind of unseasonably warm for us for Christmas, and now we're back to the normal winter. Then we're going to colder than normal. I guess that's the price you pay. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Jay said he gets cold when it gets below 50 here. Well, I know when we first start getting in the 50s and 40s in the fall, it feels cold. And then you get 30s, you get used to that. Then when it is 50, it kind of feels nice.
Then then if we happen to get the weather change and go back to 40s or high 30s or whatever, we think, oh man, it feels nice out here today.
I'm just tired of the wind.
Yeah, the wind. No matter what you do, that wind cuts right through you.
Oh, it's the wind, the wind, the wind. Last night it was so noisy, I had a hard time falling asleep because it was roaring outside. And it was an east wind too, hitting our bedroom. It was crazy.
I must have slept right through it.
You always sleep through things. I'm just tired of the high winds. I'm not sure what it is right now. What is it?
I don't know.
It says 28 on the main screen. AccuWeather says 28. Feels like 24. So there is a wind chill out there of 24.
Oh.
And that's Fahrenheit. So figure it out, you Celsius people.
Hey, welcome in, Dennis. Great
Hi,
show
Dennis.
tonight.
Yep, good show. Everyone had shows. My goodness. Terry had a show. Clay had a show. Dennis had a show. Heidi had a show.
Bob and Lala Heidi was
Lala.
on Bob and Lala's show, and she multicasted it or streamed it to her channel also. So we were double chatting during that one, and
then we got a show. Welcome in, Jason.
Sometimes we were going back and forth between Mr. B's and Dennis's, and I mean there was just everybody on tonight.
That's why I'm glad we got two tablets so we can keep an eye on two chats at the same time.
Hi, Jason.
Welcome in, Jason.
So like I said, once the viewers in the chat gets rolling, we're going to introduce our new series that we're going to start tonight and continue on Wednesdays, because we were lucky enough to come across a wealth of information from Jane's family. We were gifted it, and we will tell you about the surprise when we get to it.
Whoop, whoop. I mean, a wealth of information, which has been around for years, but we're just opening up a box filled with stuff that we needed to start looking at. And surprise. Hey, welcome in, Claudette.
Hi, Claudette. Happy New Year, everybody. Oh yeah, you like this? I thought we'd start off with a bright new shirt for New Year's, and
oh yeah, you're bright and I'm poop brown. I like my dark brown. And I will say these hoodies on our merch shop is very, very, very comfortable. Some hoodies are bulky around the neck and it just drives you crazy having the hood. These things are really comfortable. The new fireworks this year sounded like cannons.
Wow.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, this is my logo on a hoodie, and boy, these hoodies are very, very comfortable.
So I got our merch store and all our information scrolling across the bottom. And if you haven't been there yet, please visit us on our Facebook group. I post a lot of stuff about the night sky and other articles that deal with, night watchers, basically, whatever you would see and weird stuff going on. And we also are on Rumble and Spotify, and we have our audio of the shows go out on our podcast. The audio MP3 part goes out on all the socials that way too. So check us out on your favorite podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from. And our merch store is down there at the bottom. It's midwestnightwatchers.printful.me. And if you ever want to get a hold of us, send us an email at midwestnightwatchers@gmail.com.
Mr. B thought you were a little green under the gill.
Oh, nice.
And then I think Jason mentioned the hat somewhere. Yeah, I've got the Cheerio hat. We've got Midwest Night Watchers hat. And I think we got Night Owl Lounge hat. Do we? Or
no, I don't think we added a Night Owl Lounge hat. I think we just did the shirt, the sweatshirts, hoodies, and t-shirts, and all of our logos, but we didn't add the Night Owl to a hat. But we did just add a new shirt to our store, so you need to go check it out because it's going to deal with the subject tonight.
And the hats are different colors. We do have like a a blue jean. And they're very comfortable hats. I love these hats.
So if you haven't done it yet, please go to our merch shop and even if you just look and tell us what you think of our designs or whatever, because we are making them ourselves. But we just added a new shirt to the American Legends line.
And we're working on some more shirts. I'm going to have a Chiro Sounds handpan t-shirt coming out here pretty soon. I had to get rid of all of our Christmas. We had to say goodbye to the Christmas until next year. And then all we got to do is just add it back to the store next year. But no more Christmas on the merch store. But yeah, we've got plans to add some more.
Yep. So we're going to continue, like I said, add to the American Legends. And we just added a new shirt tonight to that. So we have 2 of them up there right at the moment.
And while I might as well say this while we're talking about the merch store. I love my coffee cups. I've always drink out of coffee cups, but these wine tumblers from that merch store.
Show the logo.
The water, I'm not the water, but everything stays hotter. I mean, things get cold in my coffee cup. I've been using these in the stainless steel, and it stays nice and warm for a long, long time. I'm actually loving those.
Well, we
I
have
hate my keyboard on my phone. I'm a frigging expert on typos. Well, you're not the only one. Everybody typos.
Yeah. Who
Everybody.
hasn't done that?
Especially, I use the microphone a lot instead of typing it out. And boy, the microphone, I think, is drunk half the time saying stuff that I know I didn't say. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, these hats are really comfortable. I love them. Too bad we can't get the style that you've got on. I like that style that you have on.
What's that?
The hat, your hat.
Oh, the hat?
Yeah. I think
we could probably make patches. I thought about getting our patch and putting it on this hat. I know I like these hats.
I know. So anyway,
I guess we'll go ahead and
start.
Go ahead and start. And before we get going into the main subject, we will talk about the new series before we get to the info that we're going to share. And do you want to go ahead and say anything about it before I bring up the logo?
Well, I guess the first time I saw this material, I was in 7th grade back in the day. I guess it would have been middle 70s. And we had to do big term papers in junior high in 7th grade. So I did my term paper on a lot of this material. I did most of my term paper on a lot of the books and material instead of going to the library and getting books. And I still had the term paper. I'm going to pull that out. We're probably going to start putting that towards this new series that we're going to do. So anyway, I received, the box of all this material at Christmas time, and I opened it up and started going through a bunch of it. Well, come to find out, I also have done genealogy on our family. And I knew this name was familiar, and I went, wait a minute. That's a family member. I didn't know he was doing this in his life. So looking things up, come to find out he was a very well-known musician, and he was the pianist during the silent theaters when the movie was, silent and he was playing. So he's got some well-known published music out there that's actually online. I kind of went, wow, I didn't know that. Well, and then he was a broadcaster at our local radio station in Peoria, Illinois for quite a few years, and I had no idea he worked there. So then he went to the Peoria Journal-Star, which is the newspaper that's still our main newspaper.
Well, wait a minute. He was at WMBD first, right?
Yeah, he went to WMBD first.
On the radio in our
area.
On
the radio as a broadcaster for quite a few years and well known for doing that. And so then he did this column in the Peoria Journal Star. And I had no idea he worked there because my father even worked there. And I guess my father got in there, I think, after him. So this would be a great uncle of mine. It was my dad's uncle, which my dad was named after his middle name. So he would be my great uncle. And we'll come to find out he was a well-known columnist. And what is this about? Paranormal and mainly UFOs. So I've got all these books that my mother, this box, actually, all this collection is my mother's. And she did this before I was born and then a few years after I was born. And so I remember going through all this information. There's even a copy of the Project Blue book in there, which my teacher was kind of going, "What? Can I see that?" And my mom went, "No, I'm not leaving. This ain't leaving my hands." So no, the teacher couldn't look at it. So yeah, there's newspaper clippings and there's magazines and there's just books. And she saved all of these articles from my great uncle. Great uncle, great uncle. It's just great uncle. And so we've got all these to share. We can do 1 a week, 2 a week. And she's got tons of newspaper clippings. You wouldn't believe what they put in the papers back then. Anybody saw a UFO, Bigfoot, anything like that, it was all over the newspapers. You don't see anything like that in any of our newspapers these days or on the news. You wouldn't believe all these articles. I went, holy cow, we just got a whole folder. So I think I explained all of it.
So saying all that, we took his image and his byline from his column in the newspaper, and we decided we're going to create, in honor of him and Jane's family, a series every Wednesday dedicated to that pop up Gomer Bath. Straws in the Wind was the name of his.
Yep, that was his column that he did in the newspaper for, I think, what'd you say, 6 years?
Well, I don't know how many years. The guy that did a dedication to him in the newspaper, one of his colleagues, said he shared the columns with him for 6 years. So Gomer could have been doing it longer than that, or only 6 years, or the new guy only did it for 6 years while he was there. So I'm not sure. It depends on how you read it.
I mean, I knew this was my dad's mom, my grandmother's brother. And I remember grandma constantly was talking about Gomer, 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 Gomer. Well, when you're a kid, you just kind of go, okay, grandma, and you don't listen, just pay attention. But I had no idea he was that well known in the big town that's close to us. And, was on WMBD radio for quite a few years and let alone doing a column. And then my next door neighbor was also a very well-known journalist from the Peoria Journal Star. And then, like I said, my father worked at the Peoria Journal Star, and he actually started the magazine department at the Peoria Journal Star back in the late 50s. That's when magazines were starting to come out. So yeah, my father started the magazine department in the Peoria Journal Star, but I had no idea Gomer, that I heard so much about from family members, did articles on UFOs. So it just amazed me that I'm a musician. He was a musician. I've always loved UFOs my whole life. Didn't realize he was into it. And he was a podcaster. And now look what Carol and I are doing. Yeah. I guess it's running down in generations. It's just amazing on what's in this box of that my mother collected back in the late 50s.
So we're gonna dig out the newspaper articles and what he wrote, and we're going to read them to you online, and then we're going to expound on them and whatever comes up, and we'll probably be adding new articles that we run across, or incidents in our area or the country. If something big happens as far as cryptid UFOs or whatever, we'll be adding it to that series to continue in honor of Gomer and the work he's done.
Mr. B, doing this research, believe it or not, I typed in YouTube. There's an old man, and I don't know if the grandson or their kids are recording this old man playing classical music and stuff. But if you type in that name in YouTube, this old man, I don't know who he is. I'm thinking about emailing him saying, "Did you know Gomer personally?" But he is actually playing 3 of the 4 songs that my great uncle composed and played in the silent theaters, the movie theaters. And then there is a link in that description that you can go, and all 4 of that sheet music is on display online. So yeah, I contacted my family going, "What? I didn't know this," and shared it with them like, his music is being played by, this old man. So you can find it. Just type in Gomer Bath and you should be able to find this old man playing 3 of his songs because he has a playlist and he plays a bunch of classical music. So I just want to know, I would love to find out where he came across, Gomer's music. Did he
Well,
know?
he was
That
he
would
was
be
a
so neat.
well-published and musician, because in his obituary it said that he gave up his musical career to do the broadcasting. He already had an established musical career, not only
Yeah.
for the music houses, but like his sheet music. And I'm assuming he had other music, but we just know of those 4 right now.
Right. I may be in contact with some more family members to see, was there more sheet music than what is actually online right now? And there had to have been more. If he was the pianist for these silent movie theaters for years, he had to have had more than just 4 of those things that he composed, unless he played other music, while he was there. Just interesting that we just found this out, week and a half ago, a week ago. And we just kind of got really excited about going through all the newspaper clippings. And so I don't think there's a copyright on his photo and his column because, hey, I am family.
And
So,
it was way back in the 50s.
yeah, way back. Yeah, because he passed away in 1960, before I was born. I was born in 62.
So don't be surprised if you see that logo or some type of logo like that end up on a t-shirt or sweatshirt in our merch shop as we get going.
Yeah, because I'm amazed on what they posted in newspapers back then. Holy cow. You don't see any reports on UFOs these days.
Right. So in saying all that, I'll bring this back up. Straws in the Wind by Gomer Bath. We are going to do this series, and tonight we're going to start off with Mothman, or what we consider to be Mothman. And so we have newspaper clippings that we've looked up, and some of them came in the box, and we got the original reports to read off to you, and some new ones actually. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Was Ida in here? Hi, Ida.
Oh, hi, Ida. You guys snuck in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks to my mom being in the UFOs and Bigfoot and stuff, I believed all this stuff my whole life.
So once again, for the local newspaper in our area, Gomer Bath, Jane's relative, had a column. I don't know if it was weekly or not. We haven't found that out yet, but we got quite a few clippings from it called Straws in the Wind by Gomer Bath. And we're going to be presenting his column to you guys. But tonight, to start it off,
Dum, da, da, da.
we are going to start with this character.
But that's not a part of my uncle.
This is not part of Jane's uncle.
Right. This is not a part of my great uncle's column.
But like I said, as we find stuff or it relates to cryptids or anything as such, we're going to add it to it in honor of Gomer's work to continue it.
Continue his legacy of UFO.
And this just happened to come out today from Creepy Acres. So if anybody has them on Facebook, go subscribe to Creepy Acres or go to creepyacres.com and you can find all their information. And they got a great podcast themselves.
I need to say, brown dwarf, you're freaking everybody out. You probably should have said brown Bigfoot dwarf or Bigfoot brown dwarf. I don't think some people are. I recognized you at the split second. I saw your logo. I went, oh my gosh, that's brown dwarf. So if anybody's confused, Bigfoot dwarf is brown dwarf. Hey, we got a mod in here. Hey.
All right.
Because where's all of our mods?
So this came across my feed, obviously, for January 1st. So we're going to start off with this, and then we're going to continue on with some other articles. And at the header of this article or this picture, it said 49 years ago today, the southern Rio Grande Valley area of Texas during the mid-late 1970s was awash in sightings of bizarre, monstrous winged creatures that would eventually be dubbed the Big Bird. Descriptions varied. Some claimed it was a huge, oversized condor. Others reported a colossal eagle. Some saw a massive bat. Some claimed it was a living pterosaur. Still others described a bizarre chimera that was an amalgam of various creatures like apes, birds, bats, etc. Who and what was this mysterious bird-like beast? Was it all one creature? So that was the header for this picture.
And as some of your old followers of us, about a year ago, we were doing these every single Night Owl Lounge. We were doing whatever this is, Creepy
Acres.
Creepy Acres, yeah. We were doing these.
There's the header.
Stopped.
So that's the header for the that I just read. So now we'll read the actual story on this picture if you guys haven't already done it. It said today in creepy history, 1st January 1976. Says the morning, Harrington, Texas, as cousins Tracy Lawson, 11, and Jackie Davis, 14, play in the backyard of the Lawson family home of New Year's morning. They suddenly spot something standing in an irrigation canal 100 yards away. Tracy runs into the house and grabs a pair of binoculars to look at what they assumed is a giant bird. However, upon looking through the binoculars at the creature, it becomes clear they are gazing upon something monstrous. The creature stands nearly 5 feet tall and has wide, bunched up wings, a bald head with a gorilla-like face, a thick 6-inch long beak, a menacing red eyes. Horrified, the girls run back inside the wake to wake Tracy's parents and alert them of the hideous creature, but they simply dismiss their story. The next day, Jackie's stepfather, Tom Walden, investigates the girls' claims and discovers 3-toed tracks measuring 12 inches long, 8 inches wide, pressed 1.5 inches into the hard earth. Tracy's father, Stan Larson, finds that no matter how hard he tries, he can't even dent that same ground. Additionally, he finds the family dog cowering inside the doghouse, too afraid to come out. So that's your New Year's Day's cryptid report from Creepy Acres.
Creepy. I miss these Creepy Acres. We used to do them every Night Owl Lounge. And
Yes, we did.
Just kind of stopped. I miss those. These were fun. So we can bring them back along with my great uncle Gomer Bath columns.
Yep. So I'm going to print out, or we have copies of, not copies, we have the originals out of the newspapers that got sent to us in Jane's family's box. So I'll probably type them out or scan them so I can have them on the computer so I can read them to you. And so we'll do it just like we just did this Creepy Acres, but and continue in Creepy Acres, the subject of Mothman. In the box was 2 reports of the same type of dealio.
And did you scan the original pieces of paper too?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
I should have. I should do that so they can see how we received them. But I just typed it out so we could read it to them. So in the newspaper article that we had discovered in the box, it said November 17th, 1966, weird creature brings terror to Point Pleasant. So we have the actual newspaper article from Mothman, which was what we call it today. But in the article, they don't, it's just like the Texas article, and here in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, they don't describe it as Mothman. So I'm not really sure when Mothman term came up.
All right. Now, was that in the folder or did that come out of the little black book?
No, this was in the newspaper clippings that your
In the
mom
big folder?
had hundreds of them, and I just happened to see
Wow.
2 separate articles that pointed to Mothman or from Point Pleasant, and I put them together so I could keep track of them. And then I took today, I bet I searched 5 times through that box and could not find these articles. And I said, I know I saw them, and I put them together. Then finally, at the last minute, I found them. So we're going to read them tonight.
So anyway, I will show the little old black book. And it says pictures too. And these old, whoops, there you go. These old clippings. And turn the next page of his column. There we go. Old clippings of his column, so we can go through them. They're just pages and pages of, and his obituary, and they're just, oops, come on, camera, more pages. So we've got so many. We can go through 1 or 2 a week. We'll go through this. Oh, thank you, Mr. B. Yeah, isn't that music's interesting? I've only listened to 2 out of the 3 so far. So talk about interesting.
So the 2 articles that was in the box that I found that related to the Mothman or the subject of Creepy Acres that we brought up tonight, like I was reading, the headline says in big black bold print at the top, November 17th, 1966, weird creature brings terror to Point Pleasant. It says Point Pleasant, West Virginia, November 16th, UPI. So I'm assuming that's like the Associated Press or it went out over the bulletins. And it says two pleasant couples told police Wednesday their car was fouled about midnight by a bird-like creature, 6 to 7 feet tall with red eyes and a 10-foot wingspan. Steve Mallette and Roger Scarberry and their wives told Mason County Sheriff deputies that they were riding near the McClintock Wildlife Reserve when they first encountered the thing.
The thing?
Yeah, see, they call it creature, they call it the thing, they call it bird-like, but they didn't use the term Mothman yet. So, like I said, we'll have to look up to see when Mothman, the term, actually came into existence.
Yeah.
So it continues on with Mallette said it was large, measuring as much as 7 feet, was gray in color, and its eyes were 2 inches in diameter. He said the eyes glowed red when the car lights were put on them near the abandoned power plant. So the power plant is adjacent to the wildlife reserve in Point Pleasant. And the funny thing is, a lot of reports of Mothman say it has glowing eyes, but in this original article, it says it only had glowing eyes when they shined the car lights on it. But usually when you read about Mothman or hear the reports, everybody says it has glowing red eyes, but it doesn't say nothing about whether they shined a flashlight on or car lights or what illuminated the eyes.
Right.
So it's kind of different actually reading the article. So I don't know. So it continues to say, then Millette said the thing took off making a flappy noise and traveled at high speeds at about 100 miles an hour. It was a clumsy runner. So evidently it was flying, chasing their car, and also running behind it, but said it couldn't run. It says it was a clumsy runner, so I'm assuming it wasn't as good a runner as it was a flyer. So it continues, it says, I'm a hard guy to scare, Scarberry said, but I was getting out of there. If I had seen it only by myself, I wouldn't have said anything about it, but there was 4 of us who saw it. After the first sighting, the man said the thing glided along and above the car until their car reached West Virginia 62, and I'm assuming 62 is a highway or a county road. Then it disappears, they said. The 4 then drove to downtown Point Pleasant, where we turned around, and there it was again. It seemed to be waiting on us, Millette said. They said they went to the city limits and saw the creature again. When the car headlights were put on it, it scurried into the field and disappeared, they said. Sheriff Deputy Millard Holstead investigated the report, said that he was not discounting their story. He said none of the 4 had been drinking. Even Holstead said he saw a cloud of dust near the old power station, and it could have been the bird. Residents were upset and speculated the thing lived in one of the abandoned boilers of the power plant.
Goodness.
So that's that article from November 17th. And the incident took place on November 16th, according to this article.
Like you said, these are not the great uncle's articles. These were 2 articles my mother saved out of the newspaper. You know, because when I was little, she brought up UFOs a lot. Of course, she believed in ghosts. She brought up Bigfoot and she brought up Loch Ness, but I don't recall her ever mentioning Mothman, and she had some articles on Mothman. That just amazes me. I wish she was still alive. I wish I could ask her tons of questions.
Some of these articles, though, I'm not sure if your mom actually, clipped them out herself or was sent, because she had letters from UFO organizations, because she was a member of certain organizations in the area. And I actually saw some cards or some envelopes that had a couple clipped out things. So family and friends were sending her UFO things as they found, because they weren't all from the Peoria Journal-Star. They were all over it. And these 2 articles were actually from West Virginia.
Wow. So she just collected a bunch of things for years.
And obviously anybody that knew your mother knew her interest in this subject, so they were sending her stuff that they were finding.
Mm-hmm. And also, if anyone knows Dr. Hynek, she actually saw him in Peoria. And I've got the information in there, and the tickets were $1.50. Can you imagine what they would be now? She paid $1.50 to go see Dr. Hynek in, I think it was the planetarium or whatever in Peoria. $1.50 for tickets. Amazing.
So we actually have the event bill or the flyer that they had for that. So that was in the box. And also there is I'd say 3 or 4 that I saw that were actually articles on Dr.
Hynek.
So, Hynek.
That might be where she bought that copy of the Project Blue Book. Is at that conference?
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it.
Mm-hmm. And then she and I went to the movie theater and actually saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind together. And I was in high school. And she wanted to see it because Dr. Hynek was in that movie. So she was really fascinated by him.
So that first article was November 17th. And then in the box, the next one that I just happened to put two and two together when I saw them, and I don't know why I picked and actually read both of them. This one was from November 26th, 1966. And in big bold letters, it says monster bird chase auto driver says Point Pleasant, West Virginia, November 25th. And it says UPI again. So I'm assuming it's United Press something. I don't know.
UPI.
So this one says from the article, the mysterious monster of Mason County struck again Friday in its first daylight appearance, pursuing an automobile that speeds up to 70 miles per hour. So most Mothmans are reported during the night. Anything that we hear reports of, very few of them are daylight. So this one happened to be a couple days later or a week later or whatever, and it says that it was his first appearance during the day. The driver, Thomas Urey, 25, of Clarksburg, West Virginia, said that he was nearly scared to death. The monster, which heretofore had been sighted only at night, a bird described as 6 feet tall with a 10-foot wingspan. So we have the same description as far as height and wingspan. Early assistant manager for a shoe chain told police he was returning home alone from Thanksgiving Day visit when the bird buzzed his automobile. It came up like a helicopter and then veered over my car, he said. It began going around in circles and about 2 or 3 telephone poles high. It zoomed up to 70, but it kept up with me easily. Or it says I zoomed up to 70, so meaning he drove his car 70 miles an hour and the bird was able to keep up with him.
Wow.
But I like how these articles call them creatures, monsters.
Yeah.
So they don't know really what it is other than it looks like a bird or describe it as a bird, bat.
I'm just shocked on all these things that they used to print in the newspaper back then, anything and everything was printed, and told about back then. But
right.
When did it start getting censored out that you don't see UFO reports and stuff like that in newspapers?
But not only was it following them, but it said that it was doing circles overhead,
That's
2
fast.
or 3 telephone poles high.
Wow.
Over the car, and was able to still fly 70 miles an hour to keep up with the car.
That's fast. Wow.
So then it continues on in bold letters. It says, people think you are crazy when you tell of seeing something like this, but I've never had such an experience. I was scared. He said the bird was brownish gray, about 6 feet tall, and had a wingspan of about 10 feet. And he said it had a small beak. Urey's description was virtually the same as those given by other persons who have been scared by a flying creature in the past several weeks. So now the article is talking about other people that have seen. So I don't know exactly how many during these weeks when the Mothman first appeared.
Wow.
But evidently other people have seen it and were talking about it during this time. So then it continues and says the other description said the bird had red eyes.
Yeah, it makes you wonder when they changed it over to Mothman.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's fascinating.
So that's the 2 articles that was in your mom's
collection.
The box that we were gifted. So in looking this up or having let's see. Having pictures already of stuff that I've saved about Mothman and stuff. Let me get this as big as I can get it before.
Crystal J, I hope you're feeling better, sweetheart. I'm sorry you've been sick. And I'm glad to see you in here.
Yeah. I'll get this picture as big as I can before I share it. All right. So this evidently is a picture of the Mothman when it was spotted over the bridge before it collapsed. So I can zoom in. I can zoom in some, but it doesn't have a lot of detail. It gets kind of fuzzy as you zoom in on this, whatever that was that they said, and everybody said it was a Mothman and what they've been seeing in the area. So this is the photo they took, and I believe it was 1967 when the bridge collapsed and had that horrible bridge accident.
So that's probably when they switched over to Mothman then, right?
I think. I'm not a positive. I don't know exactly, like I said, when it came up.
Unless that story changed, but I thought it was, they always called it a Mothman with that bridge incident.
So here is the Point Pleasant Register, November 16th, 1966. And there you can see a couple sees man-sized bird, creature, something.
Something.
So basically it is the same exact wording about Steve Mollett and Roger Scarberry and the wives, because the two wives were with them in the car, and it goes through the whole description. And so that is actually from the paper of the exact area or town where the Mothman was sighted. So I thought that was interesting to find that.
Crazy. Mothman had been around for quite a while. Wonder what they thought if they saw him back in the 1800s.
I don't know. But the other interesting thing is I saw online where actually before that November 16th report, that some grave diggers in the area saw it 3 days earlier flying around, and they were spooked by it and had to leave. And that was 3 days before the incident with the cars.
And that probably would have been daytime.
Probably would have been daytime. I
They
would
don't dig
assume.
graves at night in the dark.
Not normally, but I mean,
Right.
I guess they could, but
Interesting. And if it was doing circles, and that one was doing circles and keeping up at 70 miles an hour. Wow. I like how they, back in the, I guess I can say old days, even though we were born in the early 60s, back in the old days in the newspapers, they gave great detail of their sightings of what they saw.
yeah, they printed whatever the people said. I mean, try to anyway. I mean, they probably do edit some of the stuff, but
That's interesting.
hi, Jason. So now I'm trying to think of what else
You're going to talk about Bloomington.
Yeah, I was going to talk about Bloomington, but I also have a couple other articles that I found online anyway that kind of, it's the same information, but just told a different way, I guess. This one says in mid-November 1966, in a small town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, two young couples fled the local woods, claiming that they'd seen a terrifying creature. They recounted their story to the sheriff and reported that the entity looked human in most respects, except for his 10-foot wings and glowing red eyes. The local paper ran the story of the Mothman. So now we're talking about where it says Mothman. But in the papers that I read, they don't say Mothman, but this article does. So I'm assuming this is a recounting of the event. Within a day or two, the whole town descended on location where the creature was reported, toting guns and ready to hunt it down. They did not find it, but they did spark a legend. So maybe that's when Mothman, like you were saying, maybe that's when they started using the Mothman term. So it's kind of interesting when you read these.
We are from central Illinois, north of Peoria, 2.5 hours south of Chicago. So we're actually central Illinois. So it is Bloomington, Illinois. I know there is a Bloomington, Indiana. So yeah, we're talking about Bloomington, Normal, Illinois. And welcome in chat, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So it's interesting reading these other articles where, like this one said they were chased or scared out of the woods, but the other article said that they were in their car and being chased. So were they chased out of the woods and got in their car, then chased again? Or I don't know. It's interesting.
Interesting.
Then we have another article in a paper that says, according to the competing theories, it was here on November 15th, 1966, that Mothman emerged from either the depths of hell or the upper echelons of space.
Oh.
But now it's talking again about the same couple, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Millette. So that's the wives' names, Linda and Mary. We didn't have that in the other articles, but they had said the wives were driving together on State Route 62. So 62 was the state route in that one article. Near the abandoned National Guard Armory building and the power plant, they saw a menacing figure standing 6 feet to 7 feet tall. In the headlights, giant eyes shone bright red. Panic set in. Roger, the car's driver, sped away towards town.
You said it was an abandoned electrical building?
Yeah. So when I was reading the other article, I told you that there was a nature reserve, and adjacent to it, I don't know how far down the road, there's a power plant, and also this says abandoned National Guard Armory building.
Okay.
And power plant.
Interesting.
So then once again, it says the giant eyes shone bright red, but it says in the headlights. And the other article said that, but most, like I said, most reports don't say that they shined a flashlight or headlights on the eyes. They just say the eyes are glowing red.
Oh, I bet they were messing with portals back in the 60s and knew what they were doing and opened up portals.
I mean, that's the question.
Not surprise me.
That's the question. I mean, we believe that they use portals. We believe Bigfoot uses portals, probably Dogman. I mean,
I bet
either either they were here before we were, and I believe Bigfoot and other cryptids were here probably before we were.
I think man
But
figured out how to open
were they
portals.
brought here by extraterrestrials? Did they come through a portal that was opening it up either by Native Americans or people
Man.
practicing that kind of rituals and
Mhm.
ceremonies? Or did CERN bring in more, open the portal and bring in more of these creatures to our reality, our dimension? But I mean,
Back in the
we
60s.
don't know.
Right.
This is I mean, me and Jane talk about this all the time. We flip flop back and forth on what we think happens, or hey, what about this? What do you think about this? You know, we kind of bounce things off of each other, and sometimes we'll say it in other people's chats or when we're on other people's shows and we're talking about this stuff. All of a sudden, something comes up to us, and whether it's portals or whatever, we bring it up. But I mean, that's a question. I can't say 100% that they use portals, but I believe they do.
Or some could have came from outer space, like that article said. I mean, we don't really know. Are these portals interdimensional, you know, coming from different dimensions? I mean, the mystery we'll never solve.
Right.
You know, we've heard stories of our own military government opening up portals and then not knowing how to close them. So then they have guards there to make sure nothing comes in. Or, I mean, how many portals could they have opened that go, uh-oh, how do we close this now?
Right. A lot of times they don't, you know, they do something and it might have been my accident that it opened up a portal.
Yeah.
And then they don't have a plan for that happening.
Right.
So maybe that's why they shut CERN down, you know, for a while, because they didn't know how to deal with whatever was going on. So they just shut it down.
I just was listening to a podcast last night saying, I think it was either January 5th or 6th, it's turning back on.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just in a few days. Is that going to be more cryptids?
Probably. We'll probably have new ones. So the article continues, this article anyway, after it said that the giant eyes shone bright red, panic set in, Roger, the car's driver, sped away towards town. But the creature following, according to the first eyewitness accounts, the thing rose up like a helicopter though a clumsy runner, as they saw at the power plant. So this actually says that that was running at them while they were at the power plant. So they must have been out there looking around or in the woods and exploring. At least that's how I'm taking it, because it says, according to the first eyewitness accounts, the thing rose up like a helicopter, though a clumsy runner, as they saw at the power plant. It excelled in gliding, easily kept pace, even as the car reached 100 miles an hour.
Jeez.
The creature's debut ruffled the town's feathers. Well, that's kind of funny. We're talking about Mothman or a bird creature, and it says it ruffled the town's feathers.
That's funny.
Making for an unsure headline the next day in the Point Pleasant Registry, and we brought that image up of that. Couple sees man-sized bird creature ... something.
That's funny too. Creature ... something.
The stereotypical inclination for a small town to form an angry mob heightened. Rather than raising pitchforks and torches for several nights, the curious town people made hunting rifles their preferred weapon. So instead of like Frankenstein, where they had pitchforks and fire or torches, they these people got out their guns.
Can you imagine back then? Everyone has their pitchforks. Yeah, let's go get him with these pitchforks.
Well, I mean, I guess back in the day, if you didn't have a rifle, or a lot of people in your area didn't have rifles or something like that, I guess pitchforks would be it. Clubs and pitchforks, whatever you could to defend yourself.
it could do some damage and harm.
So that was the second article that I found on that online, a different recount or different wordings of which kind of adds to the story. It's kind of funny. Like I said, a lot of times, even though you think it's okay, it's the same old Mothman story, read it, see sometimes little information comes out, or different wording. It kind of steers you to a different way.
Right. Overlay the information.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cross-reference them between all the articles and see what it says. So now we're on to Chicago, since we've had lots of reports of Chicago Mothman sightings. I think the last time I counted, there was 174 reports.
Oh my God.
Mothman in the Chicago, Rockford metropolitan area. If you count all the suburbs.
Wow.
And small communities outside of Chicago. 174, I think, was the last number I saw. So this one says, Chicago fireman who has been stationed at O'Hare International Airport for the last 7 years recently experienced something they have never seen before on the job. On December 29th, 2022, so it wasn't that long ago.
Wow.
At around 11 p.m., this fireman said, I heard what sounded like a chirping sound, followed by what sounded like shuffling coming from nearby. I looked around, and then I heard the clicking coming from across the street.
Clicking.
So we haven't heard anything about noises other than the wings on the other article. So this one says he heard chirping and clicking. So could the clicking be something that made with his mouth, or was it its claws or toenails coming across the pavement?
Oh, that's a good thought. I was going to say clicking. People hear clicking when graves are associated nearby, but that's interesting. Clicking. That could be the feet if it was on the ground.
Yeah, if it was running towards them or sneaking up on them, you could hear it's
and chirping.
Which goes along with the bird theory or whatever noise it makes.
Bats do chirp.
They make.
Yes. When I'm in the backyard, you hear them they chirp at each other.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, where was I? Clicking from across the street. I looked up, and standing on the edge of the HVAC plant was a very tall, thin, human-like creature with huge wings that were spread out. The creature was looking directly at me with a pair of large red eyes that had the intensity of a pair of taillights or one of the lights on the engine. So now he doesn't say that he shined lights on it or anything. This report says that it just has red glowing eyes that were large.
Wow.
Like tail lights. And we all know at night how bright tail lights are when you're behind another car.
Tail lights look different back in the day too.
Well, this is 2022.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is 2022. And Ida brought up insectoids. Yes, insectoids, we've heard that they make a clicky sound.
Then I don't know who wrote this article or if this was actually the fireman talking, but all of a sudden it says, ... not cool, right? So evidently it was a younger fireman, if that was his words, not cool. The fireman went on to say that the wings of the creature were like 15 feet in length. So now we went from 10 feet.
Wow.
I think one article said 6, the other article said 10, and now we have 15 for a wingspan.
Good Lord, are they growing?
I don't know. Maybe they're different sizes. Maybe there's like Bigfoot. You have adolescent ones, you have babies, you have women, you have.
I heard that this story about a man was turned into a Mothman. Oh, that would make sense too. Oh, good point, Jason.
See, Native Americans, the shamans, and you can ask William Nighthawk, or you can listen to his stories, or or shows that we were on with William, me and Dennis Carroll, and we talked about shamans turning into dogmen or skinwalkers, or
I'll just say that word.
all right, SWs, or turned other warriors or people in their tribe or people into those cryptids. So there is that shape shifting
Right.
aspect of that.
Who's to say a shaman didn't have, a bat on its head instead of a wolf or fox or the different things that they cape themselves with? That's a good point. Huh.
So it says the wings were 15 feet in length, and that the stare down took place for 5 to 7 seconds before it flapped its wings, flew away, and completely disappeared.
Wow.
So if he can fly 70 to 100 miles an hour, it probably wouldn't take him very long to disappear out of somebody's sight, or maybe he just disappeared. We don't know.
Well, especially if it's at night. You definitely would lose visibility. Wow.
Yeah, because this says it was at 11 p.m., the fireman said. So it was at night.
Makes you wonder, has there ever been any reports of Mothman that did not have red eyes?
Oh,
Does it always have red eyes?
maybe. Or does it turn him on and off? Can he turn his glowing eyes to normal?
I think most reports is the red glowing eyes.
So then the end of the article says when the fireman went to tell his coworkers what he had just seen, and this is in quotes, a few of them spoke up and said that this was not the first time it had been seen, and it had been seen around the HVAC plant a few times by people and around the airport by hundreds of employees, passengers, and pilots.
Wow.
So that's 2022.
Is that Mothman map current? Are they still adding stuff?
Well, that's what I was getting ready to bring up.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I'll get out of your head.
No, you say whatever you want to say. That's
fun. We do think alike. We think alike too many times.
Let's see.
Oops, sorry. Microphone.
Somehow, and once in a while when you bring this up, it doesn't go exactly to the right map for some reason. All right. Bear with me, everybody. I'm trying to find it. I thought I had it saved because we talk about it all the time. All right, let's see if we can find it this way. All right. All right, I think I found it. All right, let's check this out, and I'll show you the map that we've been talking about, and yep, it's showing, right? Let's see. Let me take this off so I can see what you guys are seeing. Yep. All right. So if you scan out of the Chicago area, you can see all these firsthand reports in and around Chicago. That people are putting on this this Google map that they have made. And I don't know if it goes higher than 174.
That is spreading out.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the way to
Wow.
Rockford. It's all the way to Rockford, and it's actually down here. If you look at this down here, Indianapolis, and I mean, it's
So is that bottom one Bloomington?
this one right here is out. There's Bloomington, and this is outside, like Lexington, Illinois.
Oh, really? So it wasn't just Bloomington.
And then here's Indiana. They have a few reports here in around Indianapolis, and so it's whoever's putting the information in or wherever they're getting the reports from. People are sending them in, and they're putting them on the maps. But if you go to this map, all you have to do is look up Chicago Mothman Google map, and it should come up for you.
Wow.
And then you can actually click on it and go to the report.
That's
So
really
this
cool.
one happens to say August 2nd, 2017, playground area of Indian Boundary Park in Bolingbrook, Illinois. And then I think if you actually click on the link, it'll take you to the story or the actual report of what the eyewitness actually said. Otherwise, when you click on it, you get a little brief summary.
Still makes you wonder why so much in a big, huge city.
Did you put this one up on screen? Ida earlier asked about could it be insectoids?
Yeah, I was bringing that up. That I know I've heard stories of insectoids actually clicking too.
Well, yeah, there's that. You know, there's different types. You know, whether it's praying mantis.
Yeah, the mantis beings.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of them that you can bring up.
Wow, that's really spreading out.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've sit there and clicked on these, and I haven't gone through all of them, but I've went through a lot of them. It's
Wow.
just interesting. I mean, they go anywhere from some think it's a human figure with a moth wings. Some people say it's just like those other articles where it looks like it's a bird with a human body. Some people say it's a man moth, a man bat. I mean, gargoyles to however they just, you know, in their head, they're trying to figure out terms to describe it. So all the reports are not the same in that aspect because the heights vary, the wingspan vary,
So it's not the same one. Definitely, there's different ones.
well, I'm just saying people might not describe the same incident or the same creature the same way every time because they're trying to make it make sense on how they can describe it. So it could be the same creature. There could be multiple ones. There could be maybe more than one kind of cryptid that are similar to Mothman, Birdman, Batman, whatever it is.
Now, there was reports for quite a few years, or was the airport one the first one? Did it start at the airport, or was there reports before the airport incident?
I remember the airport, O'Hare, being the first one that I heard of in Chicago. I mean, here's
area.
Navy Pier, and there's 3 incidents there. I mean, you just go to the map, everybody, if you want to see it. Like I said, put in Mothman Chicago Google Map, and it should pop up with a link for you to go to.
That's so interesting.
So, Pleasant or Point Pleasant isn't the only place that Mothman is appearing, and there's other states that have Mothman sightings, and I find it very interesting that also there's a lot of UFO activity reports show up in the same areas. And then when you get up here towards Wisconsin, Northern Illinois, Michigan, you start having dogman reports. You start having werewolf reports. Now, whether people consider, whether they think what they saw was a werewolf or whether they think it's a dogman, they might not know the terminology or the difference, or they just use it as a interchangeable term. And then when you get down into Southern Illinois,
Bigfoot.
you get, I mean, there's Bigfoot all the way through Illinois, but Southern Illinois, you get back into the dogman, werewolf kind of deals.
Well, I was going to bring up Southern Wisconsin, which is just north of Chicago, that famous road, Briar Road or whatever that is.
Right, the Briar Beast.
Yeah, so that is just right north of Chicago and Southern Wisconsin.
So like I said, if you guys are interested, check it out. You can go to Google search or whatever, however you want to search it up, and you put Mothman Chicago or Chicago Mothman in Google Maps, and a link for this should show up.
Hello, Rosie.
Hi, Rosie.
Those dots are Mothman sightings around the Chicago area.
Yep. So like I said, I think the biggest number I saw was 174. And according to Google or the article that I saw, they've added a couple new ones. So I'm not really sure which reports are the new ones. Well, there's 177, I guess. I think that says 177.
Wow.
It keeps getting, the more I zoom in, the smaller it gets. So you guys can check that out. And to go along with that, we had a report that we heard. Actually, I think I heard it online, and I think I've heard it on another broadcast about the Mothman sighting just a few months ago in Bloomington, Illinois at the university, the ISU.
It's only an hour away.
Yeah. So some students and people there. There's been more than one witness. They're starting to slowly tell their stories. A lot of, just like everything else, a lot of people sometimes don't want to say something until they feel comfortable or other people start saying a story. So then they slowly start telling people about what they saw. So supposedly a student, the original sighting or multiple sightings was students saw on top of a building there at the college a tall bird-like thing or creature, I guess. I don't know if they use the word creature, but I'm going to say thing. And they thought maybe this was in October, around October, I believe. They thought maybe it was like a Halloween prop or that a college student went up on the roof and put a blow up thing or, something like that. But then the more they looked at it, and I don't know if somebody got binoculars, but they got a closer look at it. And then they could see that the actual wings come out, and it was moving its wings. And then they figured it was about 6 feet tall, and the same thing, about 10-foot wingspan, and it said they had glowing red eyes. And then evidently either the Mothman spotted them or realized they were spotting it, and it did the exact same as in the other stories, where it just in one big swoosh, it jumped off the building and was gone.
Wow. And it takes actually an hour and 15 minutes, but yeah, that's very close to us.
Yeah.
Because Chicago is like 2.5, 3 hours away from us on a good day with less traffic.
So as in doing this new series that we're starting, and I guess officially we launched it tonight, of Straw in the Wind by Gomer Bath, Jane's relative. We're going to be adding stories like that as we hear them to it. So it'll be our own stories or whatever we hear or people report to us, and we'll be adding it to the collection in honor of Gomer, to keep his legacy, or his what would you call it? His
legacy of his
column, or his
column, yeah.
interest in UFOs and other things going. So another family member will be continuing his work. And
well, Rosie came in late, so she's probably lost. My mother collected all kinds of UFO clippings and books back in the late 50s, early 60s. And so I'm going through this box right now and going through articles. We'll come to find out my great uncle actually was a columnist for the Peoria Journal Star and did articles on all kinds of stuff, but he actually did articles on UFOs. And I was just actually impressed and amazed that, I mean, I knew of his name. I've heard my grandmother talk about her brother constantly, but I did not realize that he was a publisher and did a column and was fascinated with UFOs back in the 1950s. So we have all of his, not all of them, we've got quite a few of the newspaper clippings, and we're going to start going through them. And that is my great uncle. So we're going, yeah, carry on his legacy of his column, and then go through these newspaper clippings that my mother collected.
so if
You're on mute.
So if you guys have reports or a sighting of your own, or maybe something like a Birdman, Dogman that makes it to the papers.
Dog man that makes to the papers.
Yeah.
I know.
But,
these days, you won't. It's going to be rare if you see.
Well, sometimes you never know. So if you have one, please let us know in MidwestNightWatchers@gmail.com, and you can either clip out the article and send it to us. We'll give you our address, or you can just tell us in an email about it, or take a picture of the article and send it to us through our email. And we'll be glad and happy to add it to the series.
And we might pull some of these books out. There's just lists and lists and lists of pilot reports. Pilots, just seeing stuff back in the day. Now they're not allowed to say anything. But some of these books, there's all kinds of information in there. Hope we don't get a knock on the door.
Uh-oh. No, but we have all those, like I said, your mom belonged to those. It wasn't MUFON, but there was other local things like MUFON, and your mom was part of it, and giving data and research. And that's why I think that's probably why she was clipping out and getting all these articles, and she was sending them in. They had a newsletter. And in that box that we got sent, or Jane got sent to her, there was quite a few of those newsletters in there. So we might be going through those also, and magazines and all kinds of stuff that she saved and clipped articles from. So,
and it was a group that I don't hear these days, unless, I know we've heard of MUFON and some of these others, but I don't recall this. So we had to look into that and see
well,
or what.
there's a few cards, personal postcards from that organization that your mother received about her help and her involvement in all of her reports.
Wow.
And one of them said that they had a chance, or they're involved in a documentary that was going to be on TV, and they reached out to them and wanted their reports. So one of these Wednesdays, we'll get those cards out and we'll read them. Correspondence to your mother from the actual agency that she was involved in. Now, when I say agency, I don't mean necessarily government 3-letter.
No.
I'm talking about enthusiasts or people that report sightings and stuff too.
It was National Investigations Committee of Aerial Phenomena, NICAP. I don't recall that. Has anyone heard this?
The postmark, I believe, came in from the Chicago area on the cards.
NICAP.
So whether that was where that was located, or that was just say when you have somebody else starts out a new chapter or something of an organization, there could be the main one somewhere else, and then they develop one in Chicago or St. Louis or wherever in the U.S. But I'm thinking the headquarters or the main people were in Chicago, but I could be wrong.
It was 1963. And my mother is a member of the National Investigations Committee of Aerial Phenomena. I wish I knew that when she was alive. The things that you find out later.
So I think also we had a report, I think 2 weeks time, from the Bloomington Mothman sighting. 2 weeks before that, a truck driver reported to a BFRO about a Bigfoot sighting, which going the other way west,
it's like an hour and a half away.
It's like an hour and a half away in Illinois, that somebody saw Bigfoot and reported it to BFRO. And so we have that report that we can bring up. So we're slowly collecting Dogman, werewolf, Bigfoot, Mothman, anything like that, UFO reports from the Midwest, but especially Illinois if it happens. And we will start reporting on this stuff on Wednesday nights whenever they come up. But first, we'll go through newspaper articles that we've acquired and gifted by Jane's family. So if a new report comes up, we will mention it. Otherwise, we'll be reading all these articles and bringing up interesting stuff that was in that box that we got.
Like I said, there's some neat information in just the books alone. I might pull out my 7th grade term paper and see what did I write back in the day.
Yeah. Do you even remember?
I remember doing it, and I remember going through this box of my mom's stuff. I don't really remember the newspaper clippings. That's interesting. I do remember going through the books, and with the term paper, you had to do all the little fancy stuff and, say where you got all your information. And so I do remember going through these books, and I remember reading the little blue book, the Project Blue book that she had.
Right.
And I remember doing the term paper. I don't remember what all I wrote in there.
I remember seeing hardbound copies of the blue books, and there was like 6. When I saw it, there was like 6 books.
Wow.
They had all the years broke down.
Wow.
But I don't know. Crystal J just put Dogman seen smoking off the pier on the Great Lakes. So Navy Pier.
Is that legit?
Did you look that up on the Google Maps, or did you hear about this, or is that a joke? I don't know how to take it.
If it's not a joke, Dogman's actually smoking. What was he smoking?
I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, if you guys want to send us in reports or any experiences you had, if you want to stay anonymous, you can stay anonymous. We promise we won't give out any information that you don't want us to tell. And if you don't want your name attached to it, like I said, anonymous, we will just read the report. Or if it says something personal and you just want to share it with us, if you tell us not to read it online or on air, we won't do that. We won't do it. We'll just keep it to ourselves. But we would like to hear about what all you guys have.
And Crystal was joking.
Ah, okay.
I haven't heard any reports of any cryptid smoking.
I would think, you would sit there and think, if I was gonna tell a story about a Bigfoot or a dog man, I think I would have them sitting by a campfire smoking, or this kind of like the images you see online where people make up.
Like the old peace pipes. You'd have a mellow dog man. It's one way to calm him down. Give him something to smoke.
Right.
Dog man peace pipe.
So I think that's all the information I was going to share for this episode. We're not leaving. We're just done sharing articles and stuff that we found for this episode of
Wow, that took an hour and a half. And we've got so much
straw in the wind. I mean, I guess we could have talked about them more.
straw in the wind.
Straw in the wind. Now, does anybody know where the term straw in the wind comes from?
We have deer showing up in the garden.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's been a while since I've seen them. Yeah, I hope I can find out more on why straw in the wind and exactly how many years did he do these articles. And I'm just fascinated. I didn't realize he was that well known of a musician and on a radio station for years, and let alone be in the UFOs. I just thought, I knew my mother was in the UFOs, and I knew her dad, because my grandfather was a farmer and he actually saw something, and that'll be another episode. I will share my grandfather's experience of seeing a UFO out in the field when he was farming. So, but I did not realize on the other side of the family, a great uncle was fascinated by UFOs and had a column about it. So it's just so interesting.
So if you look up straw in the wind, it says that an incident or piece of news is a straw in the wind. You mean that it gives an indication of what might happen in the future. The latest straw in the wind is a pickup in sales among the nation's retail giants. So it's like a trend. It's like a upcoming possible event or news or something that floats through the air and you get wind of it. So it's a straw in the wind.
It was probably a term they used back in the 1940s and 50s. It was an interesting title when we saw it too, like straw in the wind.
Mothman in the bridge.
Yeah, someone asked to bring up that picture again?
Yep, I did not get rid of the. Let's see. So if anybody listens to this later on our Audible players or our you will have to come to the YouTube or Rumble channel or Spotify to see the video of what we're showing on screen. So it's probably boring for people listening by radio or whatever device they're listening on. Let's see how big I can make this.
Now that they said was an original picture taken back in the day.
That's what they said.
Okay.
And I remember seeing it in print before.
Right, I remember seeing it in print too, because they didn't have AI, CGI, Photoshop, and stuff back in the 60s.
And this is usually the picture that they show in newspaper articles. And it says West Virginia Regional History Center. So this evidently came from their museum or their.
Was that the only bridge that this has happened at?
As far as I know, this is the only bridge that collapsed or Mothman was sighted at. I'm not sure. There might have been others.
So the others is mainly he's on a building or he's flying away, but this is.
Or chasing you in a car.
Right. That thing's big, that's for sure.
So I don't know what
Wow,
it
see,
is.
wings. It does look more like a bat, so it's definitely not like a pterodactyl that would have longer wings.
But you know, it's kind of, when you zoom in, it's kind of blurry, so you can't really tell if that's wings or I'm assuming wings or.
Brown dwarf, you always say that.
What do you say?
Leave the can of beans for Mothman.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave the can of beans for him.
So there you go, Daryl. I don't know what else there is to see in this picture, but this was the bridge that suffered the fatal collapse of that day. And I think it was in 1967, where the original sightings was in 1966. So this is how Mothman got the reputation of being a harbinger of doom, that he appears before something bad happened. But as far as I know, I don't think anything happened when he appeared at Chicago.
Terry makes a good point. Because I kind of thought that it kind of looked almost like plane shape.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't see a plane, but I'm not saying nobody else.
Well, pointing down, going down, but we didn't have triangular planes back in the 60s, did we? Or did we?
I don't know.
I can see what he, like nose down, going down.
That's as far as I can zoom in on it. So
leave Mothman some cornbread to go with the beans.
Well, people leave money. They leave. I think the cans of beans started out as a donation.
Didn't that come from a game or something?
Yeah, it does. But a movie and a game. But but people leave cans there now because they donate the food to food banks, to charity.
That's nice. A lot of beans at that food bank. You know how many lanes that bridge was?
No, I know not. I did not look up the history of the bridge, so I know nothing about it. I don't know if it was just a normal 2-lane bridge or a 4-lane bridge. I'm assuming 2.
I bet if you Google that bridge, it probably says if it was a 2 or 4 lane.
Of course, it's blurry as a cryptid.
All cryptids are blurry.
Well, I mean, that was as good a picture as you could get for the time.
Yeah.
1967. I mean, you're not going to have most people just have a regular camera that had a roll of film, and whatever the lens or optical is, that was it. You didn't have
no phone cameras.
You didn't have these great zoom in.
Yep, all we had back then was just real cameras. Send in your film and wait a week.
Right.
And then wait an hour when it got better. Now it's all on your phone.
So the in relation to tonight's show and the beginning of this series, in honor of Jane's relative, we added a American Legend shirt to the merch shop, which is a Mothman. The previous one was Bigfoot, because we were talking Bigfoot in previous shows. So eventually we're going to go keep adding like Dogman and
Cool beans.
whatever cryptids in the U.S. there is. We're eventually going to add to the American Legends line that we're making in t-shirts. It'll have the silhouette or the picture of whatever the cryptid is. And so far we have Bigfoot, and today, or actually right before the show, we added Mothman, since we knew we were going to be talking about this tonight.
And we'll be adding some more stuff here soon.
Yep. And you never know, you might see a Straw in the Wind logo on a t-shirt or sweatshirt or something.
That'll be cool. I wish I knew more back when I was younger.
Somewhere upstairs or in a box still, I have my my first UFO book that I bought in grade school through the Scholastic Reader. Yeah, it's up there. I don't know if it was Chariots of the Gods or if it was a different book, but I got it out of the Scholastic Reader from school.
Rosie said the documentary she watched was the Mothman Legacy. And you can rent it on Prime, Amazon, or watch it on Tubi.
Yeah, if you go to YouTube, there is tons of obviously stories and reports of Mothman, and so I think I was saying before we got sidetracked a little bit, that we are slowly finding, especially Illinois, we're finding werewolf, Dogman, Mothman, Bigfoot stories, accounts that are coming from people. We're looking them up, and we'll eventually be putting them together, and we will be telling you that along with this series of Straw in the Wind. We'll be giving those reports as we find them and bringing them up. So I'm assuming we will never run out of stories or information with all the clippings that Jane's mom collected, and plus the reports that you just find naturally that come up, just like I said, the Mothman and Bigfoot reports that came up this year just a few months ago. So we will bring those to you, and other things that we hear or find, and Wednesday nights will be the night for that.
And we'll bring back some Creepy Acres. Those are fun too.
Creepy Acres, yeah. So now we're starting the first of the year, and we had one right on the very first day. And as Jane mentioned to me earlier, remind me that today was also the day that they had the mall aliens.
Was it today?
I think everybody was talking about today about it being the first of the year and mall aliens.
Because I knew it was at the beginning of the year. I just wasn't sure the exact date.
I'm assuming because everybody was talking about it today, or that was just something they brought up today.
Interesting. I'll find out.
There you go.
When was the Miami Mall alien incident? Well, I see a January 5th, still by Friday afternoon.
I just know everybody was talking about it today, so
yeah, I just knew
maybe it really wasn't on the first, but everybody sure was talking about it today online.
Yeah, I just knew everybody was saying, wow, starting out the year with a bang of having the Miami Mall aliens. I knew it was at the beginning of the year. I just wasn't sure exactly the same date.
Yeah, I'm assuming that bridge was a 2-lane bridge. I don't know. That's just always what I thought, but I never really put much attention into how many lanes it had. Everybody always concentrates on it collapsing and the Mothman sighting.
Was people on the bridge when it collapsed?
Yes, there was a lot of fatalities. There was actually cars and passengers on the bridge.
My goodness. Oh, that's interesting. And still reports are happening. Daryl said Jessica was doing a recap of last year and brought it up.
The mall aliens, yes. I've seen it on other people's shows throughout today, talking about the mall aliens. I think even Dennis tonight on Hunting the Shadows brought up the mall aliens.
I just remember it was at the beginning of the year, and everybody was just saying, "Wow, this year is starting out crazy."
So I don't think Jessica mentioned it, and I don't know if it was this year or last year when we brought up the flat Earth. Was that last year?
I've lost track because we've been doing this podcast and being on people's shows for almost 2 years now. So I've lost track if it was 2 years ago. Was it this year?
Yeah, it might have been. It might have been last year. So maybe that's why she didn't bring it up. But Jessica still talks about the show that we did with her about flat Earth was the most controversial and show that she's had. Still getting comments once in a while and on that video.
And we didn't say we believed in it. We just showed these old maps and just went, "What if?
What if?
What if?"
So speaking of shows, we have Ben Monet coming up this Sunday at 6 p.m. Central on our Piercing the Veil show. And she says she has lots of new stories or new stuff to tell us. So that'll be interesting.
Cool. She's always fun to listen to.
So look forward to that show on Sunday if anybody's interested and wants to hang out and talk about or listen and talk and chat about the stories that Lynn's going to bring up about whether it's angels or afterlife or past lives, or I don't know what she's bringing to us.
It's always good.
It is. Her stories are always, I shouldn't say stories. It's not really stories, like
experiences. A lot of it is her being a nurse and experiencing these things. Yeah.
So, all right, Chad, I think that's everything that we have to share. So what do you guys want to talk about? We're not ready to give up yet. Not quite yet. We just wanted to get the new series started. And since Creepy Acres brought up the bird-like Mothman incident, and it just so happens that I had found the 2 articles in Jane's family's information that they sent us. It just clicked the bell that, okay, these are 2 Mothman incidences, which ended up being Point Pleasant, which I didn't realize. I thought maybe they were something else, but they were Point Pleasant, and it tied in with Creepy Acres January 1st article or picture. And then we ventured off into Chicago and Bloomington and all the other stuff that we found and put together just to make a nice little show. And so now it's you guys. What do you guys want to talk about? What do you guys got going on? Hope everybody, like we said at the beginning of the show, is having a great New Year's and had a great Christmas.
And if you're going to get affected by this cold blast of winter coming up, stay warm and stay safe.
Yes, please take care and don't go out if you don't have to during the polar vortex. If your area is getting the sub-zero temperatures and the snow, stay in if possible, because it'll eventually warm up a little bit where it'll be better to handle. But if you got to get out, I guess if you got to get out, I don't know.
I mean, people like me that have to get in my little Carhartt little onesie and bundle up and trot out to the barn with water and then feed them. Yeah, I have to get out.
Well, it's not like you're going out in public, but
True.
You do have to
Don't see too many neighbors.
you do have to brace the weather, whatever we're having, whether it's snow, rain, ice.
Yep, no matter what it is, I have to bundle up and head out to the barn. Even if it's snow, you're out there shoveling a path for me.
That's the other thing people don't realize when, people talk about having animals. Wouldn't it be neat to have goats? Wouldn't it be neat to have chickens? then the middle of winter, you have to go out and take care of those animals. So it's not all fun and games. And yeah, it's cute seeing videos and pictures of the goats and chickens, but there's a lot behind the scenes. Just like when a farmer would have to take care of their animals, it's not all.
Yep, you got to make sure they have water because they stay warm with water. So yeah, you got to make sure that they don't have frozen water and plenty of straw to keep them warm. The chickens, make sure all the heat lamps are going. Yeah, that's something that's very mysterious. That's happening around the whole world. So yeah, we don't know what's going on. I'm staying inside. I'm not going out unless I have to. And we had the fog too. It was on our camera.
We had the snow that didn't look right, the little round beads of snow that didn't look normal to us. We had that. The fog, we had.
Yeah, the fog messed up our 24/7 for a couple days, actually. It was thick fog. I couldn't see anything in that garden. It was really bizarre, and you can kind of see the particles and stuff on the camera.
Anyway, welcome in, Monisha. I saw you in chat earlier. Thank you for coming in.
I'm trying to remember when we had the fog. It was shortly after Christmas, wasn't it? It was a few days ago when we were seeing it.
Right.
Some people are not seeing it until now, and it's in the UK. It's all
I
over.
think some of the videos or the reports that we're seeing is actually about the same time period we experienced it, but they're it's just making the rounds now. And I think some people are experiencing it now, like you said, though. I mean, it's just different for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm hearing reports that people are sick, and so this time of year we pretty much stay in anyway, unless we're feeding the animals.
Nope, we did not collect any of it. What should I say? We have experienced the gel substance in our yard. We have experienced the floaty spider web looking stuff that floats that they were talking about for a while that floated. We've seen that, which weren't spider webs. Whatever that stuff was, it was not spider webs floating through the air.
Yeah. It was thicker blobs that kind of looked like spider webs, but it was like blobby looking stuff floating in the air.
And then the snow, the different snow, we've had that several times. We had it last year. We had it last year, or maybe the year before, but we noticed it. It looks like little styrofoam pellets.
Yeah, and it bounces.
Yeah, we did. I think one year try to set snow on fire, and it didn't melt. It acted weird. So
yeah,
I don't know.
We tried several different ways too, and that snow would not melt. And that was really weird.
But usually if it's something like the gel or the spider webs or the fog, we know better than to actually go out and touch it or play with it. We just kind of observe it, and whether we catch video of it or pictures or whatever, then we share it. But other than that, we're leaving it alone because we know better.
Especially these days, you don't trust anything.
Yeah, there's lots of videos on Mothman on YouTube and pictures. But what I was talking about, I think Small Town Monsters and other shows like that actually did documentary and research on the different experiences or sightings of Mothman. So this wasn't somebody doing a movie or something that was actually documentaries, is usually what we watch.
There's probably all kinds of information out there.
Yeah, if you're going to go outside, I would suggest if you're going to spend a long time like Jane does outside or in taking care of the animals, bundle up and protect yourself. And if you can, have some kind of mask or filter to breathe in and out. That would be a good suggestion.
Washington's going to get some snow this year.
Wow. Well, Jessica just told us that she's expecting snow in the forecast that she saw for Georgia, and Florida is supposed to dip down in temperatures because of this polar vortex.
Wow.
Now, are you talking about Washington State, Jason? Is that what he's Washington State? Because up in the mountains, Washington and the West Coast gets snow, right?
Yeah. Because they're close to Idaho.
I remember Dad telling me that his grandfather remembers when it snowed in July.
Snowed in July.
But that would have been in the 1800s, if you think about it. And that's when they had that, if you look it up, they had that freak blizzard. They called it, what do they call it? Oh, I can't think of it now. They had a term for it. Gosh dang it. Now I can't think of it. But I watched a documentary on it. So it happened about the same time where everybody like New York and the East Coast all got snowed in. And my family came originally from the East Coast to Illinois and then onward to the other Western states. But in the 1800s, we had a snowstorm that this buried a lot of towns and got super like within hours.
Wow.
The temperature dropped like 50 degrees or something. It was weird. Little Ice Age. Look up Little Ice Age. That's what it was. Now there was a little ice age in Europe, and I don't know if this was a same related incident that hit parts of the US. But like I said, my dad told me, and I remember him talking about it. His grandfather talked about it. It snowed in July. Now, whether that was flurries or whether it was an actual snowstorm, I don't know the rest of that information other than what I've seen online.
I think in my lifetime, May would have been the latest. The earliest would be October. I don't recall any snow in September. Yeah, I know they're still talking about a pole shift too.
And that could have happened. That could have happened then in the 1800s. We could have wobbled or something and created a little ice age that we had. Well, I know in Europe, if you look up the little ice age, that they were actually during harvest time or during the summer months or whatever, during when they're working on the farm, and they lost crops. And
wow,
obviously people weren't prepared, so they didn't necessarily have all their firewood chopped or collected and their cellars full because their crop was still out in the fields and they weren't prepared necessarily for winter yet. So there was a lot of fatalities. And So there's documentaries out there about that, and I think some of them even you can see pictures of New York that got buried by a freak snowstorm.
Well, like I said the other night, since you've retired, it would be kind of fun having a freak snowstorm of 15, 20 inches and just getting buried for once. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go to work.
I don't know.
Just bury the backyard. That'd be interesting to get to the barn.
I mean, we've talked about this before. I don't know if I'm sure we brought it up on the show before, but when we were growing up, I remember 3-4 foot drifts all the time in our backyard growing up from the snow, and this inches and inches here in Illinois, not to mention the winter of 78 snowstorm.
I remember going down the sidewalk and having snow as a wall. And look at us, we had 50-degree weather on Christmas Day.
Yeah. I mean, when I was working at in Bloomington and I was in a golf league with the guys at work, we golfed at least 3 times every month during winter. We had almost every month at one point or another, we had 60 degrees in November, October, you name it, December, January, February. We had 60-degree weathers where we could actually be on the golf course.
It's crazy.
In Illinois. But it's kind of like what we just experienced. You would have, okay, we're getting into winter, it's getting cold, then all of a sudden you have a 40, 50 degree, almost 60 degree day for like a week or 3 or 4 days, and all of a sudden then it goes back cold. Well, that's what happened that year. So it would get hot enough to start melting the snow where you could go out and enjoy the day, and it was nice and warm out, and then that was a weird year.
Sounds like our weather now, just like up and down, up and down, up and down.
But it's just like everybody talks, especially Illinois. I know people from Illinois say it all the time, come here and experience 4 seasons in one day.
Mm-hmm.
So we have anybody else? Was the last one to pop in was
Monisha?
Monisha, or I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry if we're not saying it right. I think we are.
We usually call it Moxley. I remember 3 years ago, the ice storm that hit and the snow came down hard in Lacey, Washington, where I lived. Wow.
There you go.
Daryl said that's North Carolina weather.
Yep. Like I said, I'm assuming every state has some kind of weather anomaly or everybody says the same thing, about their weather, just wait 5 minutes and it'll change. It seems like more and more people say that all the time about their weather. I mean, personally, us experiencing it, I mean, we know Illinois is like that. I don't know about other states, but you hear other people talk about it too, that they have weird weather sometimes.
Illinois is really weird. Woke up today and we saw sunshine. About freaked me out. Haven't seen it in about 2 weeks. It's been so cloudy. Cloudy or foggy, but just cloudy and gray and just
Well, like I said,
when you see the sun.
Sometimes I get up and the sun's out and I think about letting the goats and the chickens out and experience the day. Then you wait 10 minutes and all of a sudden the sun's gone and the wind picks up and it's like, oh man. Oh, thank you. Where are you going?
I'm scratching my back and I'm not doing it on camera.
Oh,
I used a good old fly swatter and scratched my back.
two lights are watching me in the clouds. They look like cat eyes. Wow.
Oh,
Well, a lot of people report, the orbs and the drones looking funny when the lights come out of the clouds or in the clouds, or a lot of UFO reports, talk about lights in the clouds or funny shaped looking clouds that look like, okay, there's a dark spot that maybe look like something else besides a normal cloud.
I just said Arizona had the hottest year on record. Wow.
Really?
I mean, I'm not ready for the hot weather, but I just don't like the bitter cold. I'm tired of the wind. Jane, you are amazing. I took a picture. You took a picture of me? When?
I don't know. Here.
No. Give me back. Now you're gonna have to switch me over. Yeah, you always do that.
I know. I'm just used to me being on this side and you being. It's kind of like people having their favorite side of the bed or their favorite chair or something. It's just like I'm just used to us being like this. I don't know. Doesn't matter, I guess.
Being with you for 20 years, yeah, you're always on that side of the bed. We got to swap one night and see what happens and see how it feels. Yeah, that freaked the dog out. Like, why is Mom on this side? You're always on that side. Don't do that to me.
So yeah, actually 1963, I think there was a snowstorm in November when I was being born. I think they were worried about getting to the hospital when I was due. I believe. I think I remember Mom or Dad saying that.
Well, I know that when I was born in March, there was a winter storm and Mom was in labor.
Oh, cool. She took a picture. Nice.
And Daryl says neither of us would get any sleep if we swapped sides of the bed.
Probably not. Either that or we'd get up to go to the bathroom or do something and we'll be like,
where am I?
Out of the bed and we can't because we're going towards the center instead of the edge.
That is true because I'm used to, I know exactly where I'm going in the pitch dark. I can feel the edge of the bed and feel the dresser, and then there's the bathroom.
Yeah, I remember the blizzard of 78 very well. I had to shovel
so
much snow. We already had snow, and then that blizzard just piled it on top and just seemed like it wouldn't quit. We were out there. Oh, it seemed like the whole day, all the way into the evening.
We were out of school for days. I remember that. No school again.
I still need to find that picture. I have a picture of me on a big giant snowdrift from 78 blizzard.
I think your photo albums are in the
I looked in the
drawer underneath your bed.
One photo album, couldn't find it, so I must have it somewhere else in one of the other places we keep pictures. But I remember we had to clean it. We had to clean off the roof because Dad was. And our house growing up was a nice house. I mean, it was well built. My dad built it. I mean, it was a structurally sound house. So I don't know why he was worried about it, but he wanted the snow off of the roof. So we had to get up there and clean the snow off. But what was nice about it that we had such big drifts anyway. So even if you did fall off the roof, you didn't have far to go before you hit snow. Then, then obviously you push all that snow.
Then you got more snow.
So then you got to get rid of that after you've already shoveled all the other snow off the driveway or whatever. Yep, 1978. Everybody has the 1978 story about the blizzard.
And we've been here in this house for 20 years, and we just had that one winter of snow after snow after snow after snow, but nothing like when we were kids.
Right.
We had big snowstorms when we were kids. I mean, you get a foot at a time and then another foot. And, we're not getting the storms like we had when we were kids.
It reminds me of not too long ago when Georgia experienced that snow and ice storm. Yeah.
Yeah. That was freaky.
But I remember being home from school, like you said, and of course I had to help shovel and stuff. But other than that, you were able to make snow forts, and all the kids were hanging out and running around. And then if you go online and look in Google, you can type in a blizzard of 78 if you experienced it in your area. But I know here in Illinois, you can find all kinds of like Chicago freeways that were blocked up and they couldn't move and people were stranded. And that's what reminded me of the Georgia ice storm, or the little, I shouldn't say little, it was big for their area, obviously.
People stranded, right?
People stranded and running out of gas and trying to stay warm during that cold snap and ice storm. I mean, we always kid, or people up north, or whether it's Chicago or whatever, always talk about, the South gets a little chill and the whole state closes down. Well, yeah, we can say that, but the people that live there, it's a real experience for them. I mean, there was people that was stranded, and the same way they had fatalities, just like Chicago did during the blizzard. I mean, it's not, and no matter where you're at, some weather anomaly or something out of the ordinary is never a fun thing or a good thing to go through.
The snowstorm babies.
Yep. We've covered a lot of stuff tonight, from snowstorms to Mothman to UFOs to whatever. Of course, that's usually how our shows go. We usually start off on one thing, or just talking with the chat or whatever, and we end up on 4 or 5, 7, 8 different subjects through the night. So it's always fun seeing what the chat has to come up with.
Sometimes it's jokes, sometimes it's recipes, sometimes it's food.
I was just thinking about that, about bringing up the pizza picture.
Go ahead. It always tortures the chat.
They don't want to see that.
We haven't had one in a couple months. We might have to order one this next weekend.
So that is our deep dish. They call it Priazzo, which means pizza pie, supposedly in Italian, unless they were lying to us. I guess I never actually looked up what Priazzo means, or Piazzo.
Or they call it stuffed
pizza. Yep. Chicago style. There's all kinds of names for it, but this is our local mom and pop pizza place, and this is our favorite style from them. We do get thin crust, but we splurge, and as a dessert or a delicacy, we get this thick monster of a pizza.
The stuffed pizza. There's a thin layer of crust on top,
with sauce.
and then with sauce.
So it literally is a pizza pie. So it's just like you would think of a normal pie that would have a crust on the bottom and a crust on top. That's what this pizza has. And it has all the ingredients and cheese in the middle. Then it has the top layer of crust. And then you have that nice thick sauce on top.
Clay, if you ever come and visit, we'll order stuffed pizza.
Almost anybody so far that's ever came here, we've always got like the taco pizza, we've got the stuffed pizza. So we get like a variety of the different stuff, you know, the deep fried pickles, and we just had deep fried green beans the last time we experienced that. They just added that to the list not too long ago. And they were really good.
Those deep fried green beans are really good.
They had a seasoning on the green beans or in the, I don't know if they added it afterwards, but I'm assuming the green beans were seasoned and then they deep fried them in the batter, but they were really good.
Yeah, our youngest daughter from Canada came and visited the end of October, beginning of November. So that's when we had it, because she had to have that stuffed pizza. So we had taco pizza, stuffed pizza, pepperoni pizza, all kinds of little appetizers. Yeah, probably
So almost
the Chicago stuffed.
Almost every state or pizza place, I think, usually have a Chicago style thick crust somewhere in the bigger cities anyway. Just like a lot of pizza places now are starting to do the Detroit style pizza, and you have New York thin crust original style pizza. So everybody's kind of got their own pizza they're used to, but a lot of places you can experience Chicago style. Might not be exactly like what you'd get in the city or exactly what we just showed you, because our pizza isn't exactly like what you would get in the city in Chicago even. It's really close. It's really close and it's really good, but
yeah, so it's a thick crust, and they pile on the ingredients, a bunch of cheese, and there's a thin layer of crust on top, and then they smother it with pizza sauce. So it's almost like a pot pie, pizza pot pie. Man, dog's up.
Yeah, I hear. This reminds me of the story we just told about the clicking.
Yeah.
And I hear the toenails of the dog hitting the wood floor going across.
Like, I hope that's the dog.
Oh. Well, I didn't hear that. I was thinking of the dog, and now you're saying we might have something else upstairs clicking nails across our floor.
And yes, you got to use a fork and knife for this pizza. Yeah, double stuffed. This is almost kind of double stuffed. I mean, this is just, I mean, it's thick.
Right. It is thick. I mean, it is every bit of this thick.
Ingredients and cheese.
But they don't call it double stuffed, though. But I mean, it's just Chicago style. They don't even really call it here. They don't even call it Chicago style. It says stuffed pizza or Priazzo.
Yeah, when we order it, we just call it stuffed. And gremlins running around.
Ooh, gremlins.
I could tell she was in the bed because you heard her thump down and then go down the hallway.
Oh, she was in the bed. All right. Well, that makes sense, because it's weird. She'll go into bed and lay there for a while, then she'll come back out, I guess, to check to see what's going on, or see why we're not coming to bed yet, or
find out all the cats took all the chairs.
Of course, it's still early for us. It's not even 12:30 yet. So she should be used to knowing what time.
Yeah, it's not bedtime yet. But yeah, it's been a couple months. We're probably due for a stuffed pizza. Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah, it is, Jason. It is nice and moist, juicy, has great tang to the sauce, and the crust is nice. And
the crust is almost like a breadstick when you get all the way down to the end.
Yeah.
It
could have a crunch on the outside, but the inside at the end piece or the end of the crust is almost like a doughy doughy bread.
And I can only do one piece at a time. I mean, you are stuffed by the time you eat all of it.
I used to eat 2, almost 3, but now I'm slowing down. Now I know better, and now that I'm not working and not exerting myself as much as I probably should be. I only have one, and I'm usually full. But they're big pieces. I mean, we get a 16-inch large pizza, so when you get a slice, it is huge.
We used to have a Papa Murphy's.
Yeah, we had Papa Murphy. That's why I brought it up. We had Papa Murphy's, and I remember getting Papa Murphy's and bringing it home.
Yep. And then it closed up. I think that was the only one. I don't think Peoria has one. It was just over in East Peoria. I thought it was good pizza.
I think they were starting to spread out, but then I don't know if they closed every Papa Murphy's or just in our area or just that town. I don't know.
Yeah, because we got it probably like 4 or 5 times. But I know it's closed up now. Stromboli.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I mean, even like a calzone. I mean, a calzone's kind of like a pizza pocket, or it's an enclosed pizza. But this is it's just like a thick crust pizza that has a top crust like a pie. So, whereas a calzone or a stromboli, you get it, and there might be sides, and the pizza's enclosed in especially calzones. But this, you cut it like a normal pizza. Then you have open sides that the cheese and everything oozes out and nice and soft and melted. And you get towards the thicker crust on the outside. You can actually you can actually pick it up like a pizza. It's usually the bottom crust is able to hold it, but when it's a full big piece, you got to have it on a plate and use a fork and knife.
You don't use a paper plate.
Oh wow, that's nice. Yeah, we usually get sausage and mushroom, or we'll get black olives, or once in a while red onions or something else added to it, which, like I said, all the ingredients in the Chicago style is on the inside. So that's all together with the melted cheese and all that.
But if any of our kids are here, we have to get a pepperoni pizza.
Pepperoni or something other than, they don't all like it. It is an acquired taste. Not everybody likes that tangy or that sauce on top. And some people don't like that much cheese, or I don't know. I guess it's an acquired taste, or you like it or you don't, I guess. I don't know. But most people obviously in Illinois or Chicago area like the deep dish or thick pie.
Pizza pie.
But actually our other favorite, and I think I mentioned it earlier, or you might have, the taco pizza at the mom and pop place that we get this pizza from is really good. We can't find it like this anywhere else. It's literally fresh taco ingredients on a cheese pizza, and it's really, really good.
Some places put nacho cheese
corn chips, or
right. This
I don't
like corn chips or anything.
This is actual whatever you would normally get on a taco: cheese, lettuce, tomato.
Oops.
Whatever you're used to, you can get it on the pizza, the taco pizza, and it's really good. So it's different. If anybody has a Casey's puts the corn chips and all that other stuff on there. And I used to have a picture of it. I don't think I ever shared it on on our show.
Of what?
The taco pizza.
Oh, you got a picture of the
I'll have to
taco pizza?
upload that. I'll have to upload that sometime so we can show it.
Oh, I didn't know you took a picture of the taco pizza.
I think so. It's probably on my phone, just like everybody else's food pictures.
Oh, that sounds good, Daryl.
What's that? Did I miss something? Stromboli?
Yeah, it's like a sub. All the pizza stuff is rolled up in it and baked. That actually sounds good.
Yeah, Stromboli is more like a roll, and calzone is more like a pizza pocket. Kind of similar, but not the same. Different ingredients, because the calzone you can get the basic pizza ingredients, or Stromboli, if I'm correct. Like I think they set up earlier. You can get different meats in it and different kinds of stuff rolled up into it.
I know. I was just gonna say. Now I'm hungry.
I know. What are we going to do?
We have a couple little Red Baron, teeny tiny little pizzas. We might have to throw them in the Ninja
Yeah.
and have pizza for a snack. Roger says, Daryl, we call those pizza rolls here.
Yeah, on a small version, pizza rolls. But we used to get calzones at a bar delivered to us at work there in Bloomington, Illinois. And they had the best. I mean, they were awesome. They were seasoned just right with the Italian seasoning and stuff on the outside. And it wasn't as thick as our deep dish pizza. He's cooking a pizza now.
Yeah.
We need,
Please
we need a pizza oven down here when we're talking and doing our shows.
That's
Or
funny.
an air fryer or something.
Like I said, I do have the little Red Baron individual. I think it's 4 cheese pizzas up there. We can throw in the Ninja real quick. Because I don't think we have any more leftovers.
Yeah, pizza rolls is different, obviously, but pizza rolls are bite size usually, and at least the ones that I'm used to or have seen. And then Stromboli is a roll, thick, rolled up dough with the ingredients, whatever the meats and the sauce and the cheese and whatever on the inside. And then a calzone is like a pizza pocket where it's a dough folded over with the ingredients and the outside edge pinched.
It's like a giant pierogi.
Yeah, like a giant pierogi, pizza pierogi. Yeah, a giant one.
And speaking of pizza rolls, if anybody does like pizza rolls, a neighbor of mine turned my kids on to, believe it or not, sour cream and pizza rolls. And it is absolutely amazing. So my kids got addicted that if we had pizza rolls, you had sour cream and you dipped it in the sour cream. Try it. Amber. Happy New Year. Did you get a hold of her yet?
Yeah, I told you I scheduled her.
Okay. All right.
It's,
me.
It's on the calendar, and it's not this month, but next month.
February.
So, yeah.
All right.
But if somebody doesn't work out, I guess doesn't work out, then I go through the list and offer it to anybody that wants to jump on earlier. And so Amber, if we have a cancellation, I may be getting a hold of you so you can get on sooner than later. You never know. Stuff happens.
Stuff happens.
People get sick. People have stuff come up, and You never know.
Yep, it's happened.
I mean, we've canceled our own shows because of stuff happening. You don't know. It's not
Mhm.
always the guest's fault. Sometimes it's ours, or not our fault, but stuff happens to us.
Yeah, then my kids got hooked on ranch salad dressing for their pizza. But with pizza rolls, they liked sour cream.
See,
But yeah, I think all of our kids did that ranch.
well, you do breadsticks with ranch, and you do with marinara sauce, or
Got another deer.
oh, nice.
I figured they would start coming up with the cold weather because I haven't seen them for about a week or so because it's been so warm. Come on, eat the eyeball or eat the smiley. Come on. That's what we did last winter, and then all of a sudden there'd be one eyeball left.
I don't know if it's anywhere else, but we have a pizza chain that started in Illinois called Monocles. And I'm sure we've talked about it on other shows where we talked about food, but I like their French dressing. And you can get that in a squirt bottle form or in a cup when you're in the store or the pizza place. And you can dip your pizza or breadsticks into that. They call it sweet and tangy, and it's French dressing. It's their own recipe, and man, is it good! I love that on pizza. We would buy. They sell the bottles of it at the restaurant, and you can bring it home. And I would put that on frozen pizza or the pizza place down the street's pizza, and I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it's not good for you. It was, French dressing has red dye in it or whatever the coloring in, so it's probably not good that way. But as far as taste wise, it is yummy.
See, Jason's heating up pizza.
Oh,
We got Clay eating pizza. We got Jason
having
eating
pizza.
pizza. Oh, what spooked you? Come back. Now I see is a deer butt.
Well, maybe before the polar vortex hits, maybe we'll order a pizza.
Yeah.
Get it here before the polar vortex so we can have a pizza, then leftovers
During the cold.
During the polar vortex. Yeah, we have pizza, or not pizza, but when we get chicken strips or whatever, usually we do it in
Ranch,
mustard or barbecue, and you can dip it in ranch.
deep fried pickles in ranch. The deep fried mushrooms I do ranch. The green beans I did in ranch. Actually, the green beans were good with the marinara sauce also. I was surprised those green beans were that good.
I mean, everybody has a different. So, I mean, everybody loves ranch, obviously, and a lot of people like barbecue for certain foods or whatever it is, or ketchup or whatever your condiment is. But I remember when the kids used to mix, or Skylar would mix the ketchup and mustard together, and then Skylar somehow would do the mayonnaise, dip her French fries or whatever in ranch or mayonnaise or something. It was
our kids had some weird stuff.
I never did try it. I never tried it.
The oldest daughter would go to McDonald's. When she'd order fries, she'd ask for a cup of the Big Mac sauce, and she'd dunk her French fries in the Big Mac sauce.
That'd be almost like a Thousand Island kind of sauce.
I was back at pizza. Now Brown Door's probably going to order pizza.
It's probably early enough. He probably has pizza places. So this, in case anybody missed it, this is what we've been talking about. Venturing off of it a little bit, but this is what brought up the original subject.
Torture everybody again. Ketchup and mayo, yes. Barbecue and A1 sauce.
Yeah. But I mean, if you go back to malt shops or way back when, say, in our area, Steak and Shake or mom and pop ice cream shops, people would get French fries and dip it in the malts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's chocolate flavored ice cream or
Brown Dwarf's having Mom's New Year's leftovers.
Oh, nice.
Well, I
I think we went through all of our leftovers finally.
was gonna say we could do that after the end. We still have little salami and cheese and crackers.
Yeah, we don't have to get out of pizza. We can do something else.
We're gonna finish our New Year's leftovers.
So being from Illinois, close to Chicago,
Chicago.
I put mustard on my hot dogs, no ketchup.
I do ketchup on my hot dogs.
I know you're weird. I don't know what to do. You should only have mustard on your hot dogs.
Well, I do ketchup.
And if you do venture off, you have onions and relish. I do like onions and relish on my hot dogs, and that's a Chicago. Well, it might be other cities too, but Chicago is famous for their green relish and onions and mustard and a pickle spear on their hot dogs, and sometimes they add tomatoes.
Now, Brown Dwarf, I will say, I don't like mayo. We use Miracle Whip. I think mayo is disgusting. Miracle Whip has something to it. So, yeah, we're Miracle Whip people. Don't like mayo. It's plain. Yeah.
So getting back to my point, I like mustard usually on ham products, ketchup on beef products.
Yeah, you dip
And then
your roast
chicken, like chicken pieces, chicken whatever that you would have. I use barbecue sauce or something, and once in a while I will use the honey mustard or whatever on ham, or if we get like a ham steak or. So I kind of, me technically, and I think it was the way I was raised or growing up in this area, our foods are usually divided in what sauces are appropriate for what foods, I guess, or at least in my world it is.
The coleslaw on hot dogs. And we were talking about this one night too. Or it was somebody's show. Well, what it was either somebody's show or we were talking about that.
Well, we've talked about it in multiple shows, our show and other people's shows, where
people swear by it.
We use Miracle Whip. That's what we like. But growing up, my mom always had Hellman's.
Yeah,
you go down south and everybody swears by Duke's.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like every region or area has their own certain kind of mayonnaise that are salad dressing, if you want to call it salad dressing, that they have. But my mom didn't necessarily like Miracle Whip, even though she kept it in her refrigerator, I guess because us kids liked it, or maybe dad liked it. I don't know. But mom's favorite was Hellman's.
Chimichurri sauce. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Chimichurri sauce. It's from Argentina. Wow.
I've never had it.
Now, Roger says mustard, ketchup, onion, chili, and a coleslaw.
Wow.
A chili dog. There's pizza dogs. I used to get pizza dogs at the mall because they had a hot dog place in high school. They had all the, the whole board was all different kinds, and I would always get a pizza dog.
I always thought that if you took a corn dog that you'd get from the fair or whatever, a normal corn dog, and then after you cook it or they fried it, take the stick out, slit it down the middle so the crust is like the hot dog bun, and then put your melted cheddar cheese or your nacho cheese in it, or relish or whatever your condiment you like, and just eat that like a hot dog instead of a corn dog on a stick. I think that would make a really good food truck item.
Yeah, these pizza dogs had pizza sauce on it, and then it had the shredded cheese on top, and it was pizza sauce on a hot dog was actually really, really good. And they're called pizza dogs.
Maybe that's what we should do. Maybe we should get a food truck and do the corn dog thing where you turn it into a hot dog, like the outside crust of the corn dog is the bun. And then you have your melted cheese or your onions, your relish, your chili.
What about that?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There,
Wow.
I think there is. I think they do that with hot dogs now. They take a little tube or a straw and they stick it in and they pull out, make a hole in the center, and they jack it full of the cheese or whatever you want on the inside. It's just like a cheese dog, basically. I mean, just like you get in the store, it melts the cheese on the inside. What's that?
Stoners around the world's got ringing in their ears right now, Daryl.
Imagine that, huh? Corn dog with nice nacho cheese or chili or onions and relish or whatever your toppings you like on it. Then you have it in the little hot dog boat paper lining, and you could just eat the corn dog like a hot dog.
I haven't had a chili dog in years. Chili dogs are good too. Jason said my dad is a French Canadian and they would mix mustard and mayo to make the sauce. It's weird. Mustard.
Oh wow. Probably also like poutine.
Well, I honestly think Chick-fil-A sauce is, I think, close to like a mustard mayo type mixture.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Chick-fil-A sauce, yeah.
But the last fair we were at, the corn dogs had not only the corn dog batter, but they had a sweet pancake mix with it also. So it was a sweeter taste, and it was really good at first. But then the more you eat it, the sweeter the taste or the sensation got, and it's like it was almost too much.
It was almost
Last time you got one of those great big foot long hot dog or corn dogs, but the pancake batter was good mixed with the corn dog batter.
What's fry sauce? I like fry sauce. As in for French fries?
Yeah, French fries. Yep. Just like down south, they got like I think they call it fry sauce, that they have I don't know if it's a mayonnaise base or whatever, and they mix ranch or mustard or something with the mayonnaise, and they got their own special little sauce they put on almost everything, burgers and you name it, and they put it on it.
So I didn't realize you were going to fly to California and you and Browndorf are going to sell chickens outside of Chick-fil-A on Sundays.
We could probably make a fortune. We could have food trucks popping up all over the place if we started it. I bet you. We'd probably be on the Food Channel or whatever those channels that have food things. We'd have Guy Fieri coming to visit us. Food is so versatile, though. You can just change one little aspect about it and have a whole different taste, and whether it's spices or oh no, what we got?
That you guys are cracking me up tonight. Bigfoot chicken.
Killer spot.
That's funny.
Well, a show a long time ago, for us a long time ago, what, year and a half, year ago, more than that maybe, what we were talking about putting together a cryptid recipe book.
Yeah, cryptid cookbook.
Cryptid cookbook.
Yeah, the chat was coming up with all kinds of recipes for a cryptid cookbook. Encrypted roach couch.
So a guy at work, the place I worked for 27 years, I had a Vietnamese guy that I was friends with, and he always called me Charlie.
Charlie.
I don't know
Charlie.
why he called me Charlie.
Because he said he couldn't pronounce your name.
Yeah,
So he
couldn't
always called
pronounce
you
my
Charlie.
name, but he just said Charlie as a go-to for anybody, really. But he called me Charlie all the time. His last name was Tran, and he made really good Chinese, like egg rolls and all that stuff, and he'd bring it into work once in a while. So I came up with the name of me and him starting a restaurant called Charlie Trans.
Oh,
Instead of Charlie Chan, the movie or the mystery series,
Charlie.
Charlie Tran. So I thought that would have been a good restaurant.
He used to call you and I'd answer and he said, "Is Charlie there?" Charlie.
Yeah, I lost contact with him. I don't know what happened to him.
He must have lost your number or
Plus, he
something.
was always losing people's numbers or his
Right.
phone or getting new phones, and he lost people's numbers. And
He's not on Facebook, huh?
well, every time he did it, he usually sent a new friend request or. So I don't know if he is or not. I mean, he was a lot older than me. I hope he's still in good health and. Oh no, Charlie Tuna.
Isn't Charlie what they used to call the enemy?
We called Charlie's enemies, like in Korea or Vietnam era, they would call the enemy Charlie. Like I mean, they'd say it all the time on MASH. I know that for sure. So I'm not sure why he called me Charlie.
I don't know. But he said he couldn't pronounce your name.
But I answered to it just because I know that's what he was going to call me.
Charlie. You got all kinds of nicknames.
Yeah.
Gandalf, Albino Pugwedgie.
Gandalf, yep. Charlie.
Now you're Charlie.
Midwest. G.
Yeah. Or Gerald.
Called everybody Joe.
Called everybody Joe. Hey, Joe.
Or Bub. Listen here, Bub. People just use generic terms for anybody.
No, it's bro.
Bro. Bruh.
What you doing, bro?
But I mean, it's just like British or Australians calling people mate.
Mm-hmm.
You just have a term that you use in general to cover a vast audience or anybody.
Can't you just say, hey, dude?
Hey, dude.
Hey, dude. Dude. Yeah, bruh. Bruh and pops. Bruh.
Pops.
It's dude.
Better than the 50s or 60s, eh, Daddy-O?
I hope you were trying to say pizza and chicken, because pizza chicken? What's pizza chicken? He dips
Well,
pizza.
I mean, you get chicken toppings on pizza.
Oh yeah, that's true. There is pizza chicken now.
There's barbecue chicken. There's this chicken itself shredded on pizza, and I don't know if that's what they're referring to.
Dog man chops and gravy. I think we're coming up with cryptid Bigfoot or cryptid.
Oh,
cryptid stuff for our cryptid cookbook.
I can't remember what all we had. We had names almost for
Uh-oh.
something must be on the front porch.
I don't see anything on the front porch. Unless she sees a deer out in the field somewhere.
Maybe she's staring out the back window. So I think we had names for every kind of beef dish, chicken dish
I see it. Quack.
to go along with cryptids that night, or I think we did it several nights when we were on, where we kept expanding our recipe book.
It's a bunny.
Oh, she's barking at a bunny.
It's a bunny.
Not very threatening.
Now I hopped over there by the barn. Oh,
Mothman wings
anything with 4 legs.
instead of buffalo wings. Mothman
Wings. That's cute. Bigfoot biscuits.
I think we did Bigfoot brownies. Chupacabra chips or Chupacabra something. Maybe it should be Chupacabra calzones.
That's funny.
We had a pretty. We should have wrote them. I don't think I ever wrote them down, but we had a big list going that night.
Never mind. It's a fox. There's a fox too.
Oh,
There's a fox in the garden. So that might be what she was barking at. Yeah, I haven't seen a fox in about a couple weeks too.
so
Hello,
you,
Mr.
should,
Fox.
you should share your screen to everybody.
I don't know how you do it.
Well, you bring up the Reolink app on the computer, and you hit share screen and bring up that box.
Where do I go with the Reolink app?
It's on the computer.
I don't know where you go.
All right, never mind. We'll work on it. We'll do it sometime.
Yeah.
Hi, Danielle.
If they want, just switch over to the 24/7 real quick. You'll see a fox in the garden. How's that?
You'll lose all your audience.
Yeah, chupacabra goat something. Yeah, you're gonna have to show me how to do that because I've got the YouTube up right now, but you'll show me how to do that. I'm slowly learning. And you said, hi, Danielle. Welcome in. Happy New Year. Yeah, Clay said there's a fox on the other live stream. That might have been what the dog was barking at.
Probably.
He kind of came from that direction from the chicken pen area. So maybe that's why the bunny hopped off too.
Maybe.
The bunny's still over there by the barn. Better watch it, bunny. There's a fox just a few yards from you. Oh, he's a healthy fox too.
Oh, nice. So Danielle or anybody else that just came in, we've been talking about food here lately, but we started off the night with a cryptid report and a new series that we've started, and we started it tonight. In case anybody missed it, we're doing Straws in the Wind by Gomer Bath, which is a relative of Jane that in the 1950s had a newspaper article that talked about UFOs and all kinds of stuff. So we are reading his column and adding our own stories and reports to it to continue the legacy of Jane's relative.
Great uncle.
Oh, Gemini Moon.
Hey, Gemini.
When did you sneak in? Did I miss you? What?
No, I think she just came in. Welcome in, Gemini. And Danielle.
Anybody else out there that hasn't popped in the chat yet?
Oh, you're still here. Sometimes you just kind of eat a little bit and take off.
Yeah, so we think it's going to be an interesting series in addition to our podcast, and especially Wednesday nights when we talk to the chat. We can do cryptid UFO, strange phenomena reports that we find, and share an old printed article from the 50s through 60s or whatever from a Gomer Straw in the Wind column.
You can pull up the picture.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay, I'm
I don't
staring
know
at
what you were doing, but I already
I'm staring at the fox on the other screen.
I already had it up there when I was talking to Danielle or anybody new in the chat that missed the first part of our show when we went over that. And
Oh, it's fox hunting. So yeah, that's my great uncle, and I did not realize that he did a column and was fascinated with UFOs back in the 1950s. And the fox is gone.
so we got Monisha in here tonight, and
There you are.
she joined us. And I guess I'll show the original picture we started off the night with, other than Gomer's article. We started with the cryptid report of Mothman, or a bird-like creature that happened on January 1st in Texas. So this was brought to us by Creepy Acres, that you can find on Facebook or other social media, and their website. Go to creepyacres.com to check out their podcast, and it's all about cryptids and stuff like that. And they're kind enough to put out these little cryptid reports or things for every day of the year that they occur on anyway. So that's always fun to bring up. Oh man, burgers! I want a burger. A burger sounds good.
Yeah, burger does sound good. Might have to do that with our little mom and pop shop. Get burgers one of these nights. That's a different fox than we normally have.
Oh,
Because the other one has all four of the legs are black. The back legs aren't as black as the one I've been normally seeing.
wow.
Now you took off. Marked your. Oh, now you stopped again. Now you took off.
So far we've covered a lot of subjects tonight. It's been fun. We've had cryptids, we've had Mothman, we've had Straw in the Wind. We've talked about our new t-shirts in the merch shop, which we just added Mothman to our American Legends line in our merch stop. And we added that because of the subject matter tonight in the beginning of the year. So we now have 2 cryptid design t-shirts in our shop. If anybody wants to check it out. Hi, Latchkey. So we will keep adding merch for the American Legends, keep adding new cryptids to t-shirts with our little twist or style, I guess you'd say. And hope you guys enjoy it, and check out, you can get any of our shirts with our logos on it, including Gaines. And
Get too much of a glare. How's that? You still can't really see the Mothman, can you?
no, but it's there. So they all have our initials for Midwest Night Watchers on it. It says American Legends, and we have the red, white, and blue United States. And then we have the silhouette of whatever the cryptid, or the picture of the cryptid of the month, or cryptid of whatever.
Cryptid of the month. Cryptid of the month. That's funny.
So we'll be adding more from time to time, and So if you guys like cryptids and t-shirts or sweatshirts or hoodies, then that'll be available in our shop.
And hi, Latchkey.
Yeah, we still need to get together, Latchkey, and do a show and
Get him
either
scheduled.
on Brown Dwarf's channel or our channel or your channel or however it works out.
Danielle Diva is so beautiful and cute.
Wow. There you go. The beautiful Dan Diva. Dan Diva? Danielle Diva.
Dan Diva.
I don't know how I said that. That was
I don't know. Danny Diva. Danielle Diva.
Danielle Diva.
So you saw that, right?
Yeah.
She didn't put the Y. Well, then Latchkey says, thanks for the Y. That's funny. Ah, we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
It comes with our age, too. And it just gets worse.
So hopefully we can get Danielle to come back on our show. We had her on and talked about her trip where she had loss of time, and we talked about her book about the healing springs that she went to, and that was a good conversation we had with her on the show, and hopefully we can get her back on, and maybe Danielle, if you're willing, we can talk about your connection to the family and Dracula.
Yeah. That'd be fun, too. Jim and I had to do it all over again.
Or anything else you want to talk about, but I would really like to have you on and talk about your family connection with Dracula, the real Dracula.
You're amazing, awesome, fantastic, and appreciate and so beautiful. And we love your accent. And you cook amazing. That's what Dennis said. Dennis was talking about you on a show the other night and was talking about, man, can she cook? Dennis really is enjoying your shows, your cooking shows. She says she will send dates.
Yeah, she asked us to come on her show at one time, and I said we would. But also at the same time, in return, I'd like to have you back on and talk about Dracula on our show, our podcast.
Yeah. She said it would be my pleasure. Awesome.
So there we go. We got that working out. We'll get that going. And Brown Dwarf, Latchkey, if you guys want to do a show on our channel or Brown Dwarfs or Latchkey or all three, we can facilitate that and have that happen.
Have a panel show.
Yeah, we could have a panel show.
Yes, Danielle, post your link for us, please. Since you're a mod or a Brown Dwarf, grab it real quick. Somebody get Danielle's link.
Well, post everybody's. Post
everybody's
Brown
link.
Dwarf, Latchkeys.
Now, Brown Dwarf, post yours. Post Danielle's Latchkey, his channel.
Don't be afraid. Post your socials, your whatever you want, your emails, if you want people to get a hold of you, or Facebook pages or groups. And if you're like everybody else and getting your Rumble channels going, post your Rumble link.
All right, there's Danielle's channel. Bigfoot Dwarf, post yours.
Bigfoot Dwarf. I'm not used to that.
Bigfoot Brown Dwarf.
I'm so used to Brown Dwarf.
I still say he should have had Brown Bigfoot Dwarf or Bigfoot Brown Dwarf. There's Latchkeys. And he'll probably get his own. If not, somebody will get it.
Well, let's see. It's 1 a.m. here. It's about time for the UK to come alive, and
Just come alive.
we should start having visitors from overseas for us.
Oh, we had Australia for a while.
Yeah, we had Australia for a while, and
Oh, thank you, Danielle. We love you too.
yeah, we love everybody. We love our chat. We love the people that we have on as guests, or shows that we are guests on, and other shows that we are in their chats. And if we can post your links or mention any shows that you got coming up or anything special, go ahead and bring it up and share it out with everybody. And
Aw, Gemini's been sick and been sleeping a lot. She's glad that we're on right now.
oh, well, that's nice. Hope you feel better.
And Latchkey just subscribed to Danielle.
That is bad, when you have a holiday, especially the Christmas time and New Year's and family festivities or whatever, and people end up getting sick. That's just got to be miserable. It's almost like being sick on your birthday, or
Right.
something that's special or coming up, and then you don't feel good. And I know it's miserable.
So a lot of people are fighting this coughing and hacking and stuffy noses, and it's winter time. It's this time of year for colds and flu.
Yeah, there's a big report of walking pneumonia making the rounds, and a lot of upper respiratory problems. So be careful, everybody.
It's 111. It's 11:11 for
11:11.
11:11 in California, and it's 1:11 here.
Man, we were just getting rolling at 11:11. That's like traveling back in the past, Brown Dwarf. 11:11.
Yeah,
That was hours ago.
yeah, we had 11:11 2 hours ago.
So if anybody else has not necessarily needs, but whether it's sickness or something else going on in your life, we're all praying for you and wishing blessings on you for the new year. And I hope you all get healing and whatever you may need, and everybody knows personally what they need for the new year or what's going on in their circumstances. We pray that and wish that upon you and send blessings and prayers to you. And I'm sure everybody in chat does too. And I'm sure everybody in chat can use your kind thoughts and prayers pushed out to them.
Well, I'll tell you something that I'm using is good old-fashioned Vicks. Remember the Vicks in the tubes, and you open it up and you smell it. Go to Dollar General or the store, get some of these little Vicks inhalers. They actually help your lungs too when you're breathing it in. So that's what I've been doing for asthma and everything. Is I love these little Vicks inhalers.
And if nothing else, use peppermint or any essential oil like that that's made for upper respiratory problems, and it'll clean up your thing. Or my favorite is when I used to get General Chicken Chinese, and man, my nose would start dripping and my sinuses would get all unclogged. And
Hot wings.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways to get around that.
Good night,
Works
Jason.
for a while anyway.
Good night, Jason. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
But yeah, we used to get Vicks smeared all over our chest when we were kids. And
Mentholatum. Well, Mom always used mentholatum. I think Grandma used to use mentholatum also. I think that's how we got it. But Mom would have, growing up, we always had, as we're young, mentholatum, and then I think she went to Vicks. I think we still found jars at her house.
That's forever. But yeah, just here lately, just with the winter time, I love my good old fashioned Vicks. They're cheap, and it really does open up your sinuses and your nostrils and your chest. And if it's really bad, get some good old Vicks and smear it all over your
And
chest.
then you can look up the recipe online or probably in an old book. I'm probably sure we got it upstairs somewhere, but a mustard pack
Oh,
that
yeah.
that grandmas and everybody used to put on you when you were sick.
Mhm.
They'd put that mustard pack on your chest so you'd breathe in those vapors and it would absorb into your skin.
Oh, something about putting onions in your socks too
Yeah.
when you sleep. Just to go to the old-fashioned remedies. No, actually, boiling water in a towel. Remember, you just had your head over the boiling pot of water for the steam.
Yeah, but I think they also put stuff in the water too, though, depending on what. Actually, I think they put Vicks and stuff and melted it in the water.
Good old Vicks vaporizers. I remember those being on the floor in the bedroom and have that running at night.
Then they got neti pots where you can flush out your sinuses,
Ugh.
get all that crap out of there.
And take your vitamins. We do elderberry syrup. We make homemade elderberry syrup. The recipe's online,
That's
YouTube.
my
You can get the elderberry, dehydrated elderberries on Amazon.
That's
But we-
my favorite, the elderberry and honey. And
We swear by the elderberry syrup that you take daily, especially if you got a cold starting. You take it all day long, and it usually helps kick in that immunity.
elderberries have all the properties for all the antioxidants and all the
Yeah, she's-
stuff that you would get out of it anyway. Then you add honey to it, and then all the other, depending on what kind of syrup or whatever mixture you're making. I mean, you can go anywhere from cayenne pepper to making fire water. If you have a cold or a flu and you mix up that fire water, I tell you what.
Mhm. And she's been putting Vicks on the bottom of her feet.
Oh,
So
there
yeah,
you
just
go.
go
Yeah.
to Dollar General, gas stations or whatever, Walmart. You can probably get a 2-3.
They used to do that too. They would whatever you applied, whether it's the topical, Vicks or mentholatum or mustard pack, and then they would wrap it with cellophane to make you sweat and that absorb into your body and get into your bloodstream and into your organs that way, let alone the vapors at night that would come up. But you got to be careful. People used to put a muscle cream with heat, whether it's Bengay or whatever, and you wrap it in cellophane, then you can almost get a third-degree burns from that by keeping that heat in too long.
So it seems like there's just all kinds of upper respiratory stuff going on. Back when we were younger, it was bronchitis. You don't hear a bunch of people say, "Oh, the doctor says I got bronchitis now." Now it's walking pneumonia and all this other stuff.
Right.
So it's probably just bronchitis.
So if you have a humidifier, put some essential oils in the water, or if you have an infuser in your house, we have several infusers, and we have one going in our main room upstairs. And we put a peppermint, or
I put peppermint and eucalyptus, sometimes spearmint and eucalyptus.
Yeah, you can put lavender in there. Depending on what you want it to do, you can mix and match it, and whether you like the smell of one and don't like the smell of the other. And you can also take lavender and eucalyptus, and you can get the fresh plants and hang it in your shower when you take your nice hot shower or whatever. Then that releases the oils, and you can inhale and have an effect on your body that way also. But most people, when they put Vicks or onions, to their feet, they put their socks on when they go to bed to keep it all in place and all there, so it doesn't get all over your sheets. And
good
you know how oily and stuff Vicks and mentholatum get.
Yep, just good old-fashioned remedies. I just try to stay away from the man-made cough medicines and stuff like that. Just go back to the Vicks and hot steam. Go take a hot shower and just breathe in that steam. That will open up your bronchial tubes.
Then there was nothing like when you weren't feeling good or whatever. When I was growing up, Grandma would wrap a hot iron off of the stove and wrap it in a towel and put it at the feet of your bed to keep you warm and get you going. And my mom always used the hot water bottle.
That's what we did. We had hot water bottles.
But growing up, that was awesome. But grandma would heat that old big iron, that cast iron that you would iron your clothes on the stove, and wrap it up in a towel and put it in between the blankets.
Wow.
Staying over at grandma's house, and man, your feet and everything would stay toasty for a long time.
Jim and I said all of our socks smell like Vicks.
Yep.
I mean, even these little tube thingies, I mean, they're strong. I mean, it only takes a couple different sniffs and you're just going, oh yeah, you can feel the burn.
You need to make sure though, every so often, and I'm not saying you don't, I'm just as a reminder to everybody that you need to clean off that layer of Vicks when you apply a new layer, because sometimes that pull stuff, it pulls it out of the soles of your feet, whether you're doing that. And so you need to get rid of the junky Vicks that's working and have a clean surface or a new surface on the bottom of your feet for when you apply the new stuff for it to work good.
Another thing I'll suggest, I know it's kind of gross, but blow your nose as often as possible. Don't swallow your gunk that you're coughing up. Spit everything out. Nose, spit, get it out of your body.
Yeah, you'd always see people that would get that blob or the snot in their nose, and they would suck it in, and that's just putting it right back into your stomach, into your system. So if you can, whether you think it's gross or whatever, hack it out, spit it out, put it in a tissue, throw it away. If you're outside, spit it out somewhere, just get rid of it. Don't worry about, as long as you're not coughing or hacking on somebody else.
And if you're a 420 lover, that will help you hack up some of this stuff. Right, brown dwarf, Bigfoot dwarf. But yeah, just, take your vitamins, drink a lot of water.
But I know when you're sick, you spend days in bed or hours and you don't feel like getting out of bed or doing anything. You keep taking your medicine, whether it's cough medicine or like the Vicks or whatever, you just kind of keep putting it over top of each other. But every once in a while, you need to clean that off. And
good old cough drops, get back to doing cough drops.
Yeah.
That would always help clear stuff up and help your coughing.
What's the one that you like? The lemon Ricolas?
Yeah, I like the Ricola.
Those are really good. And they have different ones with the different, what would you call it?
Different flavors.
Well, it's not only flavors, but it's what they are, whether it's honey or whatever they add to it that actually helps you. But when I was a kid, we used to have those Smith Brothers cherry, and we basically ate those like candy. But then what was the other ones? The cough drops that came in the little metal container that were individually foil wrapped.
I remember those too.
Those are really good too, but those weren't Smith Brothers. I don't think. That was a different name. Hi, Freaky.
Jim and I did say 420 is helping you. I have heard that smoking anything and the 420 does help these people with the upper respiratory.
Yeah, it was strange during that time when people were getting upper respiratory infections and afraid of spreading it to everybody. You guys all remember that period? Well, smokers, whether tobacco or medicinal smokers,
didn't get sick.
They were a lot better off, and it seemed like whether you consider smoking bad for you, it actually at that time it was helpful and protected your lungs, because the virus or anything that you're fighting could not penetrate through your lungs.
Yep. So coughing, have a cough attack with a 420. Well, you're coughing up all that crap. Don't swallow it. Spit it out.
So it's a personal preference whether you smoke or whether you do medicinal things. That's up to you guys. We're just passing our information or what we hear or what we hear other people say or whatever. We're not endorsing or telling you to do anything. It's just up to you.
I just looked back at chat. Jim and I said, guys always swallow. Or they spit it out when you're outside. Just spit it out.
I've been doing pretty good. I've been able to clear out my my throat and lungs in the morning, and usually before I go to bed, I'm doing pretty good. So I don't usually have very much problems, at least so far. I haven't had uninterrupted sleep because of that.
Freaky can't be in a room with smokers.
Yeah, it is a problem for people who are non-smokers or people who quit. Sometimes the smell does bother you, and once you've cut back or quit, you do notice the smell more than when you are obviously a smoker. But when I quit for 11 years before I started back up inadvertently or not on purpose. But what that whole 11 years, I didn't have a problem with people that smoked around me. It didn't bother me, and it was okay. But everybody has their own preferences. I mean, I know a lot of non-smokers can't stand the smell, and it bothers them and itches their eyes. And
I don't like the smell of cigarettes. That's why we smoke cigars. I really don't like the smell of cigarettes. And it's stale and icky. Cigars don't leave that stale, icky smell.
he said, that's all right. We can do it this way. I can pretend or whatever to smell Jane's fumes.
Hi, Robin. Yes,
Hi,
better late
Robin.
than never.
Better late than never.
We're still here for a while.
Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
We've been on for almost 3.5 hours.
Have we?
Wow.
Oh, wow. Sounds like somebody just fell off the couch upstairs.
I know. Not sure what the dog is doing up there.
Oh, I hear clicks.
Yep.
Hear little clickies.
Tap, tap, tap on the hardwood floor.
So you missed it. You missed it, Robin. We talked about Mothman and food and
pizza
recipes and
cryptid cookbook,
Chicago Mothman and Texas Mothman and Point Pleasant and the new series that we're starting and the new products in our merch store.
Yeah, cherry drops. Yes, Browndorf changed his name.
Surrett's. Wasn't it Surrett's?
Something like that. Yeah, I think it was Surrett's.
Surrett's or something that came in the
Those
tin
were
that was a comparable cherry to Smith Brothers.
They were for sore throats, not coffee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were more expensive than Smith Brothers, and Mom would get mad because we'd eat all of them like candy.
That's what I mean. All the good old-fashioned stuff that worked, they slowly are getting
Ludens. Yeah.
Yeah, Ludens.
For some reason, I was thinking Smith Brothers. Is Ludens Smith Brothers?
I think so. Something Brothers.
Gosh dang it.
Now you're going to have to look at
Nope, Ludens is different. Maybe I'm imagining. I thought it said Smith Brothers on the old packs.
Mandala.
The
slim down cigars, that's what we smoke.
Now I'm going to have to put Smith Brothers in there to see if it even comes up.
Maybe
why am I thinking Smith Brothers or Smythe or something?
Maybe one of these nights I'll freak out the chat and pull out a big fat cigar.
Nope, there was a Smith Brothers.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yep, Smith Brothers, and the box looks extremely close,
The Ludens?
like Luden's.
Wow.
So there we go. Now I can sleep better. I won't have to worry about it. Another Mandela effect.
You sleep good anyway. Well, I'm officially done with this.
Yep.
No, we did not, Robin.
What?
We did not talk about President Carter dying.
No,
I thought he reached 100.
he died. I told you he died.
Yeah,
and
I
he
know.
was
She
100
said
years-
she asked if we talked about it. We didn't talk about
No,
it.
no, we did not.
And I thought he was 100.
And then I saw videos online where it's a Mandela effect where people remember that this is the third time that Jimmy Carter has passed away.
I saw that. That other people remembering that he already passed away. So yeah, you said he was the oldest president we've had, right?
He was the oldest living president and
Wow.
made it to 100 years old, and everybody loved him for his humanity work, and I mean, you know, his houses for Humanitat, or what is it?
Yeah, Freaky just said 10 years ago he was building houses for the homeless. Yeah, he was a very gentle man.
And then I mean, you can say one way or another about politics or him being a president, but as far as caring for people and actually doing stuff and programs, and actually he was there actually building houses with the people, and you had to if you wanted a house built, if you qualified to get a home from Humanity or Habitat, I can't remember the correct name, you had to put in so many hours helping build other people's houses. So you would put your time and effort, and you didn't even have to know how to build a house. They had people there to help show you, or other people would help you and learn. And so you had to put so many hours in. And then when it came time for your house, all those other people or new people would come over and they would build your house, including the Carters. A lot of time, Rosalind, and Jimmy would show up and be there building houses, you know, in their work clothes and shoes and nail aprons. And
Did they stop that, or are they still doing Habitat for Humanity? I know we had
I
a
think
couple in
they're
our
still-
little
I
town.
think they're still doing it.
Okay, but you just don't hear about it much like you did.
Well,
here.
you got to have an organization, or you got to apply to it, and then you got to have people, whether it's construction workers or whatever, to be in this local area or come from an area or a bigger city closest to you that has that program to build your house. And then, of course, you have to volunteer, like I said, travel, or if your town's big enough, then you just go in your town. There's usually a house that they're building.
You just don't hear about it much these days now.
I personally don't remember Jimmy passing away any other time than the one I just heard. But online, and whether they actually remember it or they're just jumping on the Mandela thing, I don't know. But I've seen some people say they remember him dying this would be the third time. I know some people, I've seen videos where they say they remember him dying once previous, so which would be 2 times now. But I only remember this time period where he just now passed away. So I don't know. Yeah, the Amish build really nice houses.
And barns. don't see a good old fashioned barn being built anymore.
I
They
watch
put these
I
metal-
watch a lady online that moved into the Amish community. How she got the property, I don't know, because usually they don't let outsiders
Right.
buy farmland or acreage inside of a Amish community, but she was able to get in there somehow. And the Amish had that community actually, the Amish actually had a house building business, and they built her house and shop or barn. And it was just fabulous, such great workmanship.
See, Browndorf didn't know he was alive. You just don't hear about him much. And
Well, he kind of disappeared. I mean, I think
he was old.
yeah, he's been not, he wasn't necessarily sickly, but he could have had health problems, but he was just wasn't out there doing stuff. I think it's been several years since he was out actually helping at the job sites, but I think he would still, somebody would bring him there to show up or, do an opening or a presentation or whatever. But no, he was still active, but you just would not see him out in the public very often anymore. But no, it's sad. It's sad anytime, that we lose any of the older generation, whether they were presidents or not, just people in our family. Like my mom was 95,
90, I thought
96,
6, something like that. Yeah,
95.
96.
It's just a shame, that we lose grandparents and the older generation that was ahead of us. And of course, it'll be the same way with the younger generation now when we reach that age or that time. And how many times have you heard people talk about stuff? And we were just having this conversation with Jane's brother about, I wish when we were kids, we would have paid better attention or asked more questions. But when you're kids, you don't think of stuff like that. And parents don't normally tell their kids about that kind of stuff unless you just happen to be in the same room or sitting around the table when it comes up.
Right.
So there's a lot of knowledge and experience and stories, whether stuff that we're interested in on this show, like cryptids, UFOs or whatever. But I mean, just everyday normal recipes, stories, family history, whatever your family has stories of. If you haven't written it down or you haven't actually sat down with grandma, grandpa, or mom and dad and had those stories as a kid or as a early adult, young adolescence, then that's a loss. That's just horrible. And they always say, if you can, go out to the senior citizens or assisted living places and just go out and hear people's stories. Let them tell you stories of how they grew up, or you never know what you might glean out of a story from somebody you don't even know. A little trick or old grandma's recipe or something they did as a kid when they had a cold or a flu or something going on in their life, and that made it easier for them.
Still say the good old fashioned remedies always work the best.
Seems like it, but you got to be careful that you're actually getting the same ingredients for your remedies. I mean, sometimes you just can't go out to the store, even though it says lemon extract or honey. You got to make sure it's natural. And sometimes even the label, when it says natural, really isn't natural.
Another good old remedy that we do is, I don't remember the full. I think it was like 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of water. You boil that, and then you add straight lemon juice.
Yeah, we drank that.
And then
Mom
you heat
made
it
that
up.
all the time for us. We would have a hot lemon,
Yep. And you drink it as hot as you can, and boy, does that open up your lungs.
and Mom would. We normally just got the water, sugar, a little bit of sugar, or just water and lemon straight up heated in water.
It's either 2 cups water, 1 cup sugar, or it's 2 cups sugar and 1 cup water, because it's got to
But
be real sweet, and then you add the lemon juice.
but a lot of times Mom would skip the sugar and she would just add honey. So we get the lemon and honey mixture, and that was awesome. I mean, that was almost a treat in itself, like having a hot lemonade that was soothing for your throat and tasted really good. Yeah, that's awesome, Latchkey. Share them stories, share your stories to your kids and pass that down and have them continue it. And Robin, absolutely. I mean, it's just I love talking to anytime we had family reunions or birthday parties or anniversaries, I would always be at the tables listening to the stories of my aunts and uncles and cousins, and that were older than me. I was the youngest of all the cousins, and in my family, I was the youngest. So I was unusual. I collected genealogy and stuff like that from my family when I was actually younger than you think most people would. I was interested in the stories and hearing my dad talk about our relatives coming from France and migrating to the U.S. over religious prosecution, and how we traveled across the country and ended up in Illinois, and then how the family spread out west from his dad's family or grandfather's family owned a lot of property out west, and they all took off and went their separate ways eventually. And so it's neat. I got a whole pile and envelopes and file folders and stuff full of genealogy from my family on the Fountain side, as well as my mom's side on the Adolfson Swedish side. So my kids will have that to sort through, and I have talked to them here and here on occasion, and they've actually done genealogy reports in school, and I've even had my couple nieces and nephews reach out and wanting the information. So I've shared it out some. I should share it out more since we've having this conversation. I probably need to turn it over to somebody else eventually.
Well, that's what I've been discussing with siblings, and I'm spreading out the genealogy so everybody has a bunch and everybody make copies so the nieces and nephews and everybody has information.
Now, I don't know if it's my sister or somebody has it, but I remember as a kid, a relative, a Fountain, had one of those genealogy sites where you could send in and get a certificate of coat of arms and a plaque that would have your family plaque. And it didn't have to be our last name. He did it for everybody, but he specialized in the Fountain or De La Fontaine, the French name, that where we came from in that region of France. So there's a certificate and a plaque that mom and dad had, and I don't know what ever happened to it. And the last time I ever looked for it, or wherever mom put it, or whoever, it's not where it used to be. So I don't know. I can't remember exactly. So when I look it up online now, when I look up and I see our family crest, I'm not really sure if it's the same crest that I saw as a kid. I can't remember or exactly. But I think it had 2 lions on each side of a plaque with a flag and colors and stars on it. But I can't remember exactly Actually, it might not have been lions. It might have been like a dragon looking, whatever those two things up that usually on their hind legs and their front legs are up on top of the shield. Could have been dragons. Could have been griffins. I don't know. Gryffindor.
Gryffindor.
I don't know.
And so that's interesting, Robin, because before our grandmother passed away, we made sure that she got these photos and wrote down on the back of the photos who that person is, who that person is. And it really does help. You know, and then generations down the road, they go, oh, well, that's who it is because it's written on the back. And so, yeah, when you're doing genealogy, you know, if my kids don't want any of this, you know, just pass it on to someone else in the family. Someone needs to carry it on. So, a good idea, you know, got to find out if kids don't want it. One of your nieces and nephews might want all this information.
So
You know,
some
keep it passed down, give it to a niece and nephew if the kids don't want it.
so somewhere I have it, a family genealogy on my dad's side, the Fountain side, from when we came to France. One of my cousins I used to talk to, and he was doing poorly back then, so I don't know if he's still alive. But he was writing the Fountain family history as far as his family line, because he was like 3 family trees on the Fountain side removed. However you want to work that out.
I never
But
understood.
but he had the story or researching from France, and that our family, obviously our name Fountain or De La Fontaine, was came from a place of water, whether we were by a stream or a lake or a river or whatever. That's where our family came from, or a water source. But also he uncovered that we were part of the French nobility families. So at one time, either the male or females were always interchanged in the nobility. Not saying kings or queens or anything, but as far as people in charge of the area or in the king's court. So we were mixed into it somehow like that. Obviously, it didn't transfer down into our time because we don't have any of it.
So now we're talking about unicorns, griffins, and leprechauns.
Well, that's because of the family crest. I said lions or griffins, and then they said unicorns, and might even had a Bigfoot. I don't know. Who knows?
It's like unicorns, griffins, and leprechauns. Oh my!
Maybe that's what we should make up. Maybe we should make up family crests that have cryptids and aliens and stuff on it.
Mothman.
Oh, we've been on almost going on 4 hours now.
Wow.
So either I'm going to have to take a potty break, or we're going to have to end it here soon. If you want to keep talking to people, I'll go take a break. Otherwise, we'll have to end the show at 4 hours.
Well, we probably should end it pretty
maybe
soon.
Everybody's tired of listening to us anyway.
It's almost 2:00. It's almost bedtime. Hopefully I can sleep better tonight with no wind.
Wow, yeah. I mean, it don't. I mean, we've
done 5 hours.
5 hours, and New Year's Eve that night, I think we did 8 hours on and off, taking little breaks here and there and coming back, or we took turns leaving and coming back. But
we started at midnight back then. I think we ended like 5 a.m.
Yeah, I mean,
you came home. Well, it was 12:30. It was Night Owl Lounge used to be a 12:30 show. That's right. You came home at midnight from work.
Yeah.
And at 12:30 we'd start our show, and that one night we ended. It was 5 o'clock in the morning.
Well, there were several. I mean, almost all of our shows until we stopped doing them for a little while for whatever reason. I can't remember, but
we took breaks here and there.
But we were on the habit of doing 3-4 hour shows all the time.
Latchkey's turning in. Good night, Latchkey.
Yeah, I think it's probably time for us to give up the ghost and
Give up the ghost.
Call it an evening ourselves, and still want to get a snack and maybe a little time before we go to bed. And we're glad you guys all joined us.
And does everyone stay healthy?
We love the interaction in chat. Please keep it up. And if anybody hasn't joined chat yet, next time, feel comfortable. I hope, you get comfortable enough to come in and join everybody. It's a fantastic community. Everybody's loving and kind and great conversation and suggestions and comments.
Yeah, we got a good community here.
So if anybody missed it, we had a great show tonight about Mothman and Jane's family member that had a column that talked about UFO and other paranormal and stuff. And we're going to continue that work. And we just had a great time talking about food, recipes, unicorns, Mothman, you name it. We covered it tonight, it seemed like. But
Freaky
please
Brad.
go back and listen if you missed the beginning. And we look forward to seeing you Sunday when we have Lynn Monet come join us. And we're going to be talking about afterlife and angels and all that good stuff. She says she has some new stories that she hasn't told that she's going to join us with. And other than that, we will see you in other people's chats and Road Less Traveled with Dennis Carroll on Monday. I do a show with him every Monday, so please look for Dennis Hunting the Shadows on YouTube. And other than that, we'll see you back here next Wednesday for Night Owl Lounge.
And Freaky, I'll start calling you Brat.
Brat.
Freaky Brat. Freaky Brat. So everyone have a happy new year. Stay healthy.
So once again, we're sending out love and prayers to all of you for the new year. Hope you have a blessed year and everything starts getting better for everybody. If you've been struggling or having any problems or any difficulties, we're all sending love and peace and kindness out to everybody. And hope you have a great new year. And we will see you next time. Love you all.
Keep your vibrations high.
Keep looking up.